They first place Cleveland tomorrow night. Bruins had yesterday evening off. They'll host the New York Islanders this evening. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Patriots defensive lineman Devon Godchaux has been told by the team he's free to talk to other franchises to try and seek a trade. Also, the Patriots director of pro personnel Pat Stewart has left to become the new GM of the Nebraska football program. Some NFL news from the scouting combine. Abdul Carter, the Penn State edge rusher, who is believed to be the favorite to be taken number 1 overall, has tested positive for a stress reaction in his foot. He'll decide soon whether or not to have surgery. He also told the media yesterday he's met with the Patriots, as has top defensive tackle Mason Graham of Michigan. And the Red Sox lost to Tampa Bay and Fort Myers yesterday 8-2. Alex Bregman drove in both Sox runs. The Sox played Detroit and Lakeland, Florida today. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
You want to talk sports? We want to talk sports.
Squeeze the chicken and open the mouth.
It's like we were meant for each other.
This is why you need us.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher.
Fred Toucher on Instagram. Follow and see dog humping videos.
And Hardy.
I'm going to withhold sex.
On 98.5.
Hello.
Hey there.
Yo.
Can we use this for the radio?
What? Let me hear you say, oh. Na 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 na.
Crush me, mommy.
Just not enough booty to go around? Say my name. I'm a robot.
I'm the son of the poet. I'll chase you around a little bit.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Instagram.
I want to dip it in. What?
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back some fun. Having some fun.
On 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Let's go.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy, Town Fair Tire Studios. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And get involved. I talked to Riz on email.
Oh,
And apparently, the communication on there is very, a lot of technology involved. Like you can talk to only the people that you want to talk to. So like if you're on there for the first, did I say we're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook? Make every moment more with FanDuel. 617-779-0985. Gene Hackman has died. And it was only 95. So, it was him and his wife and his dog.
Yeah, so that's the weird thing. Like,
Yeah, it had to have been murder.
okay.
There's no other way. No, obviously they probably like left the stove on or something, I would assume.
Either that or they decided, look, I'm 95. I'm dying here and I'll be dead soon. And let's just play it out, Fred, as I'm sure you can probably relate to.
I'm not comfortable with this.
Well,
go ahead.
Let's do it anyway. The wife says, well, I don't want to go on living without you, so if you go, I'm going to go. And Gene says, well, who's going to take care of the dog? She says, don't worry, I'll kill the dog. And all three essentially go at the same time.
How old was the wife? Was she like 30 or was she like was she like 80 or something?
I don't know anything about his wife, but we'll find out. It can't be that
Because he
difficult.
was very famous, so there's a chance she was quite a bit younger.
His name, her name was Betsy Arakawa.
Mm-hmm.
63 it says here.
All right, so that leads you to believe it might have been carbon monoxide poisoning, which is no joke. I heard about a family that very sadly was in a cabin somewhere in New England, and there was carbon monoxide they didn't know, and then it was a tragic results. But let's move on to something more positive.
Okay, can we just, for 1 minute, please, because this is typical you, Fred. You just want to gloss over a great actor's life. Can we just mention a couple of his films, please?
Oh, absolutely, because I don't know if anyone will have an opportunity to hear anything about him today.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
This is not going to be mentioned again in the liberal media for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I know we hit you over the head with art, but Hardy's going to break down now the very underground career of Gene Hackman.
And I just heard about this. I've been up all that long. Oof. More on that in a moment. But we'll start with Hoosiers. Okay.
Of course.
French Connection, which apparently is a great movie, which I still have not seen.
I saw French Connection.
I have not seen it.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great
All right,
car
I'll watch
chase,
it.
I'm told.
It's
right.
It's a
That
really
and
good
Ronan.
car. It's a good car chase.
Yeah,
There's no question.
French Connection and Ronan are the two car chases.
Right.
Ronan I've seen. French Connection I've only seen bits of. I believe his last film, which he was not particularly proud of, but I find delightful, Welcome to Mooseport.
Oh, yeah.
Ray Romano. You know, they're familiar.
Ray Romano is always going to be a sports writer that lives on Long Island with his parents across the street and a wife he can't have sex with enough.
Searching for Eddie Fisher, is that right?
Searching for Eddie. No, Friends of Eddie Coyle. Which is not a Gene Hackman.
Thinking,
All right, John.
Never mind.
Take a seat.
Searching for Bobby Fischer.
Bobby
is not
Fischer,
a Gene
right.
Hackman movie.
Or what I was just talking about. I was talking about Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh. That's on me. Sorry.
I said Ray Romano will always be a
But
sports
he's not
writer living
in that
Long Island.
movie. He owns a hardware store in Mooseport.
Yeah, you said Mooseport, and then I said
Ray Romano. And then he said searching for Eddie Fisher, which is not a thing.
Yeah.
Something's gotten into him lately where he's really popping off.
Yeah. Continue.
So my point was Ray Romano, he's frozen in time to me.
Yeah.
So I can't watch Welcome to Mooseport.
That's okay. Have you seen Royal Tenenbaums, the Wes Anderson movie?
Oh, no. I would
Okay.
rather slam my penis in a drawer than watch
it.
it.
It's a good film.
No.
Yeah, of course it is. Adam.
Well, because it's Wes Anderson.
Because they wear tennis
Matching
outfits.
trash.
Well, do you know what it is?
Hysterical.
Do you know what it is? Because it's Wes Anderson, it's precious.
Yeah.
The whole thing is precious.
Which you know is right up my alley.
Yeah.
I love that.
But one of my two favorite things is I love Gene Hackman. I've read one thing about him where on the set of Hoosiers, he went to Dennis Hopper. He said, I hope you saved your money, buddy, because this movie is going to end our careers. He thought it was that bad.
Boy.
That cheesy and hokey and awful. And also, he didn't like Royal Tenenbaums while he was shooting it. He's like, this thing's a piece of garbage. Apparently, he was very vocal on the set of movies that he did not think were good.
I guess I could see thinking Hoosiers would be corny.
Yeah.
I mean, Hoosiers is a great movie, but I guess I could see when you're making it thinking it would be corny, especially when you've been in great movies. And I could absolutely 1,000% see being in a Wes Anderson movie and seeing him going and like throwing pixie dust in the air and going like, I don't get any of this. And then Gwyneth Paltrow's in it and she's awful, and so you're just sitting there going, ugh.
Yeah.
He did Rushmore, right?
Wes Anderson did, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I went, and this is me, not anyone else. I took a date in Atlanta to Rushmore, and her and I went to the movie, and the place was like sold out, and it was like going crazy, like laughing, going crazy. Yeah. And then afterwards, I turned to her, and I go, what was going on? And she goes, I have no idea. It was like we were like in another country and they were speaking another language and everyone else got it. And that we ended up having sex.
Nice.
Because of that. So I owe Wes Anderson that. I don't, sometimes you do this, I don't know what you're doing.
Well, this is from the Rushmore soundtrack. This is the opening credits, I believe.
Okay.
I like Rushmore.
Yeah, people I like Rushmore. I just didn't understand it, and that's like the least of his movies, right?
Yeah.
The least of his. I did see the Aquatic Life of Steve.
Life Aquatic of
Zissou.
Steve Zissou.
And not that is objectively bad.
Awful movie.
So that's bad. Moonlight Kingdom, which it was celebrated, I find to be unwatchable and creepy as hell.
Okay.
To me, that's Wes Anderson's excuse to get some kids almost doing it. Just strip down to your underwear and let me shoot long scenes. Oh, you creep! I did not care for Moonlight Kingdom.
I like how they can't make comedies anymore. So people are staying on Saturday Night Live for 25 years. but yet Wes Anderson has a blank check to make as many movies as he wants.
Yeah.
What about Bottle Rocket, the first one? You guys like that one? With
I
the
wanted
Wilson
to
brothers?
so bad.
It's got some funny moments.
It's a great concept.
Yeah.
It's
I love
just,
that one.
It's just it's really boring.
Yeah.
Does he do the one, the hotel? Is that a Wes Anderson?
That's
it's like
whatever
India.
it is.
It's in
the
India.
Grand Budapest Hotel.
Yeah, or Turkey, right?
That's all right.
Yeah.
It's Rushmore and I would say half of Royal Tenenbaums, and beyond that, I can't tell you. I can't tell you Wes Anderson that I really, really like.
That's okay.
Well, we've really pivoted from Gene Hackman.
Yeah, right. What else? Oh, No Way Out. Gene Hackman, Kevin Costner. Oh, fantastic movie.
That's what we call my dungeon. You stepped in the rat trap. Good luck getting out. There's no way out.
I understand.
Well, you didn't know it was a rat trap. You thought I just locked the door.
I want you to name one Gene Hack. Oh, Unforgiven. Now that's a. Have you watched that one, Fred? Clint Eastwood.
I'm too overwhelmed with the quality of the Metallica song to move on to. No, I have seen I believe I've seen the Unforgiven. I don't know.
Really, really good.
The Firm, too, right?
Yeah, he's very good in that. He's good in Heist, which is a David Mamet script, and I think maybe he wrote the screenplay, and maybe it's based on a book or something else. That's really good.
Too Close for Comfort, the show he did for a few years in the early 80s.
Well, he was replaced by Ted Knight.
Yeah. Facts of Life, he played Mrs. Garrett.
No. Do you remember Mrs. Garrett being part of the theme song in the early years?
Did she? Yeah, she sang it, right?
When the boys you used to hate you date, I guess you best investigate the facts of life.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they did away with that. Oh, okay. And now we're done. All right. Crimson Tide.
Yep.
The Birdcage.
Oh, I like the Birdcage.
Who doesn't like?
I
the
was made fun
Birdcage?
of in college for liking the Birdcage.
The
as a matter of
Birdcage
fact.
is
a bunch of homophobes.
Is legit. Okay, there we go. We mentioned the Birdcage. Now we never have to mention Gene Hackman again.
Gene,
I'll mention him every day.
God bless you, Gene.
Yeah.
What a life.
Let me tell you something.
Rest in heaven. My prayers and prayers and prayers go to you.
Mississippi Burning. Okay, no, not going to mention any others.
No.
That's it. We're all done.
But there's so many.
All right, John. Slow down.
What about Searching for Eddie Fisher? Have you found that film yet?
I don't know. He was in Hard Bodies, right?
Bobby
But
Fischer.
he's not in that one.
Was
either.
he my tutor?
Right.
I don't know.
Just one of the guys.
Oh, okay. I know he was in Black Emmanuel. I see. Hard Ticket to Hawaii? Let's just name things. He was a senator in West Virginia in 1976, right?
Well, let's name movies, but get the titles slightly wrong.
Yeah, I got that one. It's wrong. Yep.
That's right. He was,
Bad idea. I messed it up anyway.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
yeah,
Big
you
Black
did.
Beauty. What?
Black Beauty.
Big Black Beauty. Isn't that the name of the movie?
Yeah, he was in Healed Leg Hill.
Lamb.
All right, very good. Very good. By the way, this is very exciting news.
The Purple Rose of Tegucigalpa. Is he in that one?
Yes. He was in Blue Nice Day. The deal is that Hardy, we have an intern. And the interns sometimes fold in and out. They're not all Isaac, right? Like they don't all capture our attention.
Get Shorty.
But we have right.
Last one.
There was one release Kareem. And so there was this there's this intern and he's a nice kid and he works hard because he sits in the meetings and stuff after, and it's good. It's good for him to do that. And we do let our interns, if they want, participate as much as they want in show meetings and before and after the show and everything else. And it so happens I usually urinate after the show. My bad. And then I come in and there's a conversation already going on, and it seems like there's two people that are just hitting it off like there's no tomorrow. And it turns out to be our intern, whose name I don't recall off the top of my head.
Reese.
Thank you. And Hardy. And Reese has captured Hardy not through pickleball and not through golf, but through playing Ultimate. And it turns out Reese is going out of state because he goes to Springfield College and he's playing in an Ultimate tournament. And Hardy and him, they're obviously they have this in common. Hardy's asking him all these technical questions. I don't think Reese knew the answer to some of them, quite frankly. I questioned their program next to Michigan State's program where Hardy played. But Hardy started asking him, and there was a really chance that Hardy, I think, was kicking around the idea of going and sitting in on a couple practices because he even mentioned where he'd stay, which is the casino out there.
Yeah.
So is there any chance that you will go to Springfield? Because I know because the casino's is a nice little bonus where you can stay in the casino and you won't be with your family. Is there a chance that you would go out there and sit in a couple practices?
Only if I can come up with a solid idea for show content. I'm not gonna go out to Springfield to hang out and watch an Ultimate practice unless it has something to do with the show.
Do you think Gene Hackman's dying is a god shot to you to go because it brings up Hoosiers?
Yeah, I mean, he traveled all the way from Ithaca out to Indiana, and whatever happened back there, that was in the past.
Yeah, he had to adjust from the bustling Ithaca to going to a small town in Indiana.
It was a hell of a team you had there. You know about that team? I know everything there is to know about the greatest game ever invented. I would say there's a good chance I make it out there for a practice because driving in this morning, I had a couple of ideas for something we could do related to it. Now, I'd have to get those young men on board with what I would want to do with them in terms of creating some show content about going out to see the practice there. It's Springfield College? Is that where he goes?
Springfield College.
Correct. Yeah, but Springfield College Ultimate. They're going to a tournament in South Carolina here in a few weeks. Reese brought that up, and oh boy, we started talking about it. It was good.
Do you see? Are you more like a butter maker, like you're going out there and kind of half-assed it, or are you going to go out there and kind of be invisible and then pop up and tell them everything they're doing wrong?
I don't know what type of coach I am, Fred. Now, we've seen the folly and the pitfalls of adopting another coach's personality and philosophy so many times.
Don't want to be Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, you don't want to be Matt Patricia.
Could you put your ribbons up in the first time you meet them, like Patricia put the rings up and put like third place in the Okemos, Michigan Open?
This sounds like all ideas for the bit. Yeah, I'm gonna file some of these away, but you don't know until you've been there because the only thing I've ever coached, much like you and probably you, Wallach, are your kids' teams.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And
Wallach's coached other teams besides his kids, but yes.
You've coached teams besides your kids' teams?
Yes, a friend of mine, same league as Fred was in. It's at this middle school in Newton.
But at kids?
Yes,
okay.
Kids,
okay.
12-year-olds.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah. So my only coaching persona up until this point has been absurdly nice and positive, which is not my real personality. So I would like to think I could tap into my real personality a little bit more, where I had to go out there and coach these guys for the day.
Again.
Right.
Again.
I maybe because I watched again on the plane last week, I really want to be more like Bill Bowerman at the University of Oregon when Steve Prefontaine went there. He was kind of the quiet prick.
Yeah.
Donald
Sutherland, right?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But what if, maybe they have like a Prefontaine, like some undiscovered gem where you go like, woof.
And
this kid got everything, but he's a fragile egg.
And I'm going to call him Rube because he goes to Springfield College.
Yeah. Well,
grab him by the throat. Your heart's pumping north of 180 beats per minute, Rube. What are you so excited for?
I hope that you, for your wife's sake and your family's sake, you don't find some young philosophy major out there at Springfield College.
Let me see what Springfield College is known for.
Next thing you know, you're taking pictures.
Well, you wouldn't find out what Belichick's girlfriend's known for by good looks searching her college. So I don't know how that's going to get you anywhere. Springfield College is known for high acceptance rate. No, I don't know if it's probably a good school.
Jesus.
Accounting? I don't know. I can't tell.
Something with a notebook, right? He did 621.
They don't advertise.
I know, but
All
it's
right.
just like someone's writing it
Holy
down.
crap, the tuition at Springfield College.
What is it?
Almost $44,000.
Oh, that's nothing.
Yeah,
for a small
compared to
school.
what most private schools go for?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
That's,
my God, that's cheap.
Yeah, welcome to the Terror Dome. That's nothing.
But I'm well aware. I was thinking it might be, silly me in the 30s. That's all.
Well, no,
no,
because
there's-
that doesn't exist
There's
anymore.
no school like that anymore.
Yeah, no. That's $50,000 less than University of Miami. God. So, well, I mean, your daughter's looking at colleges. I mean, Rollins was expensive when I went there, and it was $30,000. I can only imagine what it is now.
Wow.
I can
That
only.
was a ton of money back then. Holy crap.
Yep. My parents paid for me to go to expensive school. There's no question. But I mean, inflation's not triple. The dollar's not.
I know.
Like it's not triple. Like I mean, colleges have gotten to be ridiculously expensive.
Slightly accelerated.
I
Yeah.
stupidly assumed that college would be $60,000 a year if you sent your kids to a private school, and that is just not the case. No. All in, if you send your kids to a private school, a lot of them, it's going to be upwards of $90,000.
Yeah, you're right. It's probably Michigan State. I'm looking at their in-state right now, and that's got to be. That's probably more than tripled what I paid.
Yeah, and that's not inflation. That's just how much college costs now.
Yep.
It's a bit of a racket. All right, very good. We will be back in just a moment. Things happened last night, including a Celtics game, and we will break it all down piece by piece.
Did you catch a game last night?
Toucher and Hardy. What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game, but what happens. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. Very quickly, Brandon. Hello, Brandon.
Good morning, guys. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. I just happened to hear you guys were talking about Springfield College. I'm a alum Springfield College 2020. So you want to know what they're mostly known for? Their two big majors there are physical therapy and health and exercise sciences. And personally, I went there for education, but it's a very sports-oriented school. Everyone's either playing in the sport club teams, which are not very good, but, hey, we try, and or at least being involved in sports is very active one way or another. So
you're saying Hardy's got a challenge on his hands when it comes to the ultimate team?
Yeah, I think he might have his hands full. I'm not going to lie, a lot of the kids kind of gave off some tool bag vibes, but you know what? It'll be a great experience for Hardy. Maybe he can tap into his true self like he was hoping to.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Look, Brandon might just be a little jealous of the ultimate team.
Well, you never know, what an ultimate player is going to look like, and you can tell. It's like, oh, that kid's a ball player. If you look at somebody, it's like, oh, I bet you'd be a hell of a linebacker. Or that guy would be a great power forward. With ultimate, you never know. Reese might be a great player. Do you know who was pretty handy with the disc?
Oh, Mother Teresa.
No. Although I don't know if that's untrue. My former personal intern, Will, whom...
Hello, that guy?
Hello,
the
kid.
redheaded stranger?
I love that kid.
When he used to peer in on the morning show.
Yeah.
Who T-Bone started calling Darren. After the Kramerica intern.
Yeah.
He just called him Darren the entire summer.
That's funny.
But he was an excellent thrower of the disc. Now, I never saw him play the game, but he had a good flick and a good solid backhand.
How did you find that out?
Zoe and I used to go out in the parking lot during at least 2 or 3 commercial breaks per show and throw the disc back in Brighton. Because the parking lot was right there, and much like a Labrador puppy, he needed to be taken out a lot more.
Drain the energy.
Yeah, we're talking 12 years ago. He's slowed down a little bit since then, like most dogs do. But you take Zolak 12 years ago. Yeah. Oh, he was bouncing off the walls. He couldn't stay inside his studio for 4 hours.
Yep.
So a few times a show, I had to take him out.
And you would throw the disc.
Throw the disc, and then Darren went out there with us.
Oh, and Darren, were you like, hello?
Oh yeah.
How did he get involved in the game? Did his hand just come up from behind a car and grab it, or was he invited to play?
He peered around the corner of that brick building. Yeah, what are you guys doing?
If you don't know Darren, he would come in. There's a producer's room in most radio stations, and there's a window that is in between the studio and the production studio, and occasionally you'd look up and you'd be like, ah, because he would be like,
Which I don't think he knew the joke or that it was like a recurring bit. So when I had to record a video for the morning
10th
show's
anniversary.
10th anniversary, I said, what am I going to do? So I grabbed him. I said, hey, just stand outside this window here. I'm going to and count to 10, and then I want you to peer in like this. He said, why? I said, just do it. Yeah. And they were filming my Greeting in the Morning show, and then he peered in at the end of it. And
it was very funny. And we used to play, he didn't know, we used to play Linger every time he showed up.
I mean, I would be listening while you guys were doing it, and it wouldn't necessarily be on in the hallway or anything.
Okay.
Or it wouldn't, you couldn't hear it in the producer's studio.
Okay.
For whatever reason.
I thought it was Lionel Richie. I thought that was.
Oh no, it was Hello.
Hello by Lionel Richie. That's what I thought.
Hello. Yeah. Hello. Sorry. All right. What happened last night, Hardy?
Oh, the Pistons were hosting the Celtics as the Celtics were playing their second night of back-to-backs. They had gotten the win in Toronto. Last night, they ran into a gentleman by the name of Cade Cunningham in Detroit.
Cade Cunningham spins away from Drew Holiday, trying to, falls away on the baseline. Tough shot is good. His shot selection is so much better.
Acting almost like he wasn't even there with that jump shot.
Pistons get the first 5.
Yeah, they got the first 5, and they got the first 55. They had a 15-point lead in the first half of the game, and they got to 55 first. Look, the Celtics did make a push there toward the end of the first half, and you got to give them credit for that.
Thompson drives baseline, his pass back out, picked off, the lead for Pritchard, and another 3. Whew. Are you serious? A 12-2 run in the blink of an eye for the Celtics, and the lead for the Pistons is down to 1.
So there you go. Then they got it tied at halftime, and then Wallach, I was scurrying around the house taking care of things. What happened at the start of the second half exactly?
Detroit played far better than the Celtics did, and all of a sudden the lead was double digits again. That's what happened.
Was it both ends of the floor by any chance?
Oh, yeah.
Celtics have made 7 two-point shots in this game. 7. Tatum steps to his left, deep 3. Caroms off the glass and the rim into the hands of Cade Cunningham, and he's racing up the middle of the floor, scoops, and scores. 16-8 is the start here in the third quarter for Detroit.
We were talking about Cade Cunningham yesterday. Yeah, that's the type of player who can get the rebound and then go coast to coast and score an easy layup.
Yeah, he's finally becoming a star that everyone predicted him to be. But let's not bury the lead. John called this yesterday.
Yeah, they expended a lot of energy holding off Toronto 2 nights ago. And you saw Jaylen Brown get hurt. He wasn't able to play last night. They weren't good. And the only reason the game was tied is because they hit 6-7 threes late in the second half to get him back in the game. You heard Grandy talk about the lack of 2-point shots. They made, I think, 12 or 14 twos for the game last night, a franchise record low. They spent a lot of time firing away from the outside. They didn't get into the paint at all, and they didn't play well. And rightfully so. They got blown out in the second half.
They made 11 twos last night.
Yeah.
The thing about the 3-point shot, which has been talked about way too much this season for my taste, but, yeah, if they're going down, it's great, and mathematically, it's a good way to get the lead and to win basketball games.
They didn't shoot a ton of them last night. They only shot 15 threes last night.
Who?
The Celtics?
The Celtics.
Celtics shot 49 threes.
49 threes. Oh, my bad. I was looking at free throws.
Yeah.
Sorry.
21 threes.
Sorry.
And 33 made shots for the game.
Yeah. But the thing with the threes is it's also a great shot to take when you're tired and you don't actually want to work the ball down.
And that's what happened last night. Joe Mazzulla,
and that's why people get pissed off when they're watching teams missing threes because you throw the math and the strategy out the window. It's like, oh, you lazy pieces of crap. You just don't want to, bang bodies down low and actually run plays. You just want to get it across half court and chuck up a shot.
Last night was a little different, though. When the Celtics are in their offense, you see the ball move, and they specifically set up shots. Last night was more along the lines of let's run around out there and just fire balls up with people in front of us. That wasn't very good at all. Yeah. And Joe Mazzulla would say the same thing if he were here. They didn't play well. They deserved to lose, and they did. They lost big.
Malik Beasley, 26. Cade Cunningham, 21. Pistons win their 8th straight game and ended a 12-game losing streak against the Celtics.
Mm-hmm. I was coaching my daughter's game practice last night. Was there anyone at the game?
Yeah.
Not at the. Yeah. You know what? It cleared out early though, which I think is a weeknight game, and it was well in hand.
Well, I mean, just the Pistons haven't had home crowds in years, so I'm just curious if there was people.
No, it was well attended.
Yeah,
last
early.
Night. Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't care when they left. I was just wondering if people were there.
No, people are catching on.
I don't.
Yeah, the guy who leaves before friggin' overtime against the make believes in the Bruins. He was out of there.
Yeah, Billy did not like that I left that game before overtime started.
He was looking down on you for a while there.
You made it so much longer at that game than I would have.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's true. I would have left with about 10 minutes left.
Second intermission. Bye.
I was paying no attention to the game. I mean, I was like talking to people and stuff, but like I wasn't going to stay for that overtime. It's crazy. For what?
I'm impressed that you stayed for that much of the third period.
I was like talking, and there was free food and stuff. Like I was enjoying myself. I was in the station box. It's like very nice.
The other part of it is you wait.
Thank you, Brian.
Those 5 minutes cost you maybe 35 or 40 if you had waited. What I'm saying is you would have gotten home 40 or 45 minutes later if you had waited those extra 5.
Look, man, there was one cab, and the guy even said, he's like, Jesus, he's like, you're lucky because I'm the only one they let in.
Yeah.
There was one cab in front of the Garden. They did not let any other cabs in. And you know, if you get a ride share, you got to walk who knows where to like pick it up, and you got to go like the tavern over there to like get picked up. I walked right out, right in front. There was a cab. I said, will you take me to Newton Center? He said, yep. And I said, fantastic. Got in the cab and was home. So you are absolutely correct, John. I would have had to walk around. It was a nice night, but I would have had to walk around and, been on my phone, like searching to win, and then having rides canceled and rides cancel.
Yeah.
And so,
then you would have wound up in Government Center wandering around.
It's happened before.
No, I've experienced the same thing. It's literally 45 minutes or an extra hour if you sit and wait through that overtime.
Right. So I stand by the decision, but I did think it was funny that Billy was just like, what?
Yeah.
You've left? Yeah. Yeah, I left.
Yeah, got to get up early.
Well, no, not even that. It's just like, why would I have stayed? They blew a 3-goal lead. They're not good. I'm glad they lost. So, I got in the station box. I didn't spend any money. It was fantastic. My goal was done. I did what I had to do.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. If you were there sitting in the loge to watch the game, then you may have stayed for more of it. But what ended up being the exercise of the night was more socializing than actual game watching. And once you had socialized for a couple hours, well, then you can leave.
And it probably behooved me to get home earlier.
Sure. Because you got to get up early. I get it. All right, so that's it for the Celtics. When do they go again, Wallach?
Tomorrow night, Cleveland at the Garden.
Right.
Big game.
Jesus,
that was a look ahead last night. That's why they lost.
That was one of the theories.
Trap game.
I don't think so.
Trap game.
I don't think so.
Washburn said on Twitter, he's like, I think the Pistons are kind of team that could win a first round series.
Yeah.
And he was met with just an avalanche of people saying, you stupid idiot.
It's because no one's been watching them. And anyone who spent 5 minutes watching that team last night,
I'm sorry, real quick. If someone texted him or tweeted him, and he tweeted back, and someone tweeted him and said, well, you think they could beat Indiana? Yeah, well, no. No, there's no possible way Detroit could beat Indiana.
Detroit, you need to pay attention. They're going to be annoying for somebody in the playoffs. Kate,
they're a game behind Indiana in the standings.
Right. They're right there.
And they're tied with Milwaukee.
We had Chris Forsberg sit here and said, Detroit is the sneaky pick to finish fourth this year. So they're right there already with over 20 games to go. And Cade Cunningham is as good as advertised. The great thing about Cade Cunningham is he doesn't rush anything. He's very slow and deliberate, and somehow it's a layup or somehow it's a three-point shot. And somehow he has 21 points and 11 assists where it looks like he's not dominating the game at all. That's what happened last night. He was really good.
Yeah, this season he's going to get that Supermax, and he's going to have everything he needs for that Supermax, so that will be good for him. Did you hear about, real quick, 10 seconds, Jaren Jackson Jr.?
No.
Since Wembanyama got hurt, Jaren Jackson Jr. is probably going to, I guess, win Defensive Player of the Year. And if he does, he qualifies for the Supermax now. So Memphis is going to have to give Jaren Jackson Jr. the Supermax, and they're going to have to.
Oh, boy.
So that's interesting. I mean, he's good, but he's not like
Supermax good. No, not even max good.
No, the NBA's got some, but they're going to have to give it to him. I mean, you can't. Did you let him leave?
No, and the problem is Memphis is really good, too. They're in second place in the West.
Right, and if you lose Jared, that's your second best player, right? Yeah. So if you lose him, or maybe your best player. And so if you lose him, Michigan State kid. All right, we'll be back here, the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
We were just talking about it. Detroit won their 8th in a row last night, 117-97 over the Celtics at Little Caesars Arena. Malik Beasley 26 for the Pistons, Jason Tatum 29 for the Celtics. They play Cleveland at TD Garden tomorrow night. Bruins host the Islanders tonight at TD Garden. They're 2 points out of a playoff spot. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. The Patriots have given defensive lineman Devon Godchaux permission to speak to other teams in an effort to facilitate a trade, and Tennessee Titans edge rusher and BC alum Harold Landry has been given permission to seek a trade, and the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Tampa Bay yesterday in Fort Myers 8-2. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You said you wanted to hear more music in the morning.
Never had to knock on wood, but I never had it yet.
Oh, you said you didn't want to hear more music in the morning. Okay. Here's more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
We're not going to be, frivolous. We're going to do
not only what's going to happen this year, but plenty of questions about last year, too. And he was not afraid to address what happened.
Last season, ultimately, the roster was on me. We were 4-13. Just didn't get enough done. Certainly the free agency class didn't live up to our expectations. The draft class, it's too soon to tell, but we were expecting a bigger impact from some of those guys, and we're still hopeful that they'll get to that point.
All right, so taking responsibility for last year's roster, that's good. You should. Lots of conversations about the 4th overall pick. What do you like? The mock drafts are going around. Or are you going to actually pick somebody at 4?
It's an advantageous position. I'd say there's maybe less clarity this year about what's going to happen in front of us. But, there's some good players available, and we're open to anything. We're open to moving down. We're open to moving up. We're open to sitting there and picking. Just, whatever the case may be in terms of, making the team better.
Is there any real chance they move up?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Is there a chance they move down?
Yes.
I think so, too.
I'm just curious who's going to want to move up. That's what I'm curious about.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Like who's sticking out to you that's going to be this prospect that you're going to.
It's got to be one team that says we must have Mason Graham or we must have Will Campbell, whatever the reason being. We must have these people, so we'll give you extra picks to move up 4 spots.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
It's weird. And now Abdul Carter, as you've been putting in your headlines,
right guard away.
Yes, right.
Abdul Carter, who was now everyone's saying was going to go number 1 overall. He's might need foot surgery. That will leave him out for 8 weeks, and I don't know if that's going to spook anyone off. And
that's on top of the shoulder he's coming back from. So,
right.
I mean, is that a guy you want to take number 1 overall?
Probably. I don't know. It sucks for him. I really feel bad for him because, this is just the ultimate worst time to, discover the foot thing. The shoulder thing, they thought he could still do his pro day, but now if he has this surgery, he won't be able to do his pro day.
If I'm him, I wouldn't do it anyway. If you're less than half speed and you're dealing with a problem with your foot, I'm not.
Well, the reason is that they would if they could rehab it and get him ready for pro day. That's what Rosenhaus is. They're weighing. If he's not going to be able to go at pro day, they're going to have the surgery. So that's what they're weighing right now. They're not going to have him go do his pro day if he's not, 95%. So that's what's up against right now. So I don't know I just go by what people are saying, and now the big rumor is that none of this is good for the Patriots. Maybe it is that if Abdul Carter falls to 4, but Jeff Howe came out and said that the talk about these quarterbacks is they're not even top 10 guys, and I mean there's a lot of the top of this draft is very, 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 very strange because. Now this happens every draft, but now people are like, "Oh, Travis Hunter, I don't know, really, is he worth this high a pick?" It's kind of crazy.
I think we've known for a while that the quarterbacks aren't very good. I mean, every other report you read say, "Well, this wouldn't have been a top 6 quarterback in the last draft." What you have to hope for, like I was talking about, we must have this guy, is that we need a quarterback. Everybody needs a quarterback to start. If we're bad, we need a quarterback, so we'll reach for one. And that's what it would be. If you draft Cam Ward in the top 3 or if you draft Shedeur Sanders in the top 10, those are reaches.
So that's the thing. Maybe Cam Ward would fall to 4, and then someone might trade up for Cam Ward. I mean, they're not going to give anything up. But, maybe you could trade down if someone wants Cam Ward. I'm very interested. The top of this draft is like that Eric Fisher draft. Eric Fisher, right? The lineman that Kansas City took. Mm-hmm. That like when there's, it's like a weird draft, like the Russell Maryland draft. Like there's these drafts sometimes where there's the top of the draft is all mixed up and there's really no consensus. And you can go through some drafts, and the first round's not great. Like there's drafts where there's one or no Pro Bowlers that ever come out of the first round, and might be one of the drafts.
But that's a draft I'd watch. I think
certainly.
Dane Brugler was saying this is going to be a lousy mock draft year, but a great draft year. because you'll want to see, oh, my God, we have no idea what's going to happen.
Did you hear they're only inviting maybe 8 kids to the draft?
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, there are 8 to 10 kids the NFL is inviting to the draft because they don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Don't want to embarrass anybody.
Yeah, if you invite 20 kids, what if 10 of them don't go in the first round?
Right.
And it's just this commiseration of people.
Right.
I mean, the end of the first round, there's no... If you were inviting top 10 kids in the first round, if you were inviting 10 kids to the draft, okay, so Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, you're safe.
Yeah.
Probably Mason Graham, you're safe. Probably the corner from Michigan, you're safe. And then after that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's for sure. Maybe because the tight end from Michigan's got injury problems too. The tight end from Penn State.
You figure Will Campbell at some point will be taken in the first round, if not in the top 10.
Who knows, John?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
I
He'll get taken in the first round probably, but who knows when?
I think it was Schefter. Maybe it wasn't Schefter. I don't want to put this on. I'm just thinking out loud. I saw a report yesterday that said anywhere from 10 to 30 is the same.
Yeah.
Picks 10 through 30 are the same.
Well, Schefter said there's an incredible amount of defensive line depth in this draft.
Yeah.
And so did the guy that used to be Kuiper's counterpart on ESPN.
Todd McShay.
Yeah,
and the other part of it is I was reading something yesterday. It was saying, Ashton Genty may not go high because the running back depth is so good. Why waste a top 10 pick on that kid where you can get someone of greater value or good value in the second round or the third round?
Because I don't think kids are as good as him. I mean, I think that's overthinking it. Like if there's a kid that can be a superstar in the league and there's average talent all around him, and because Ashton Genty is a superstar talent, right?
Yeah, but there's too much time now. So people are saying product of the offensive line. He's got a lot of miles on him.
Have you watched
this?
Big. Just watch his highlights.
Yes.
First of all, watch one game. I can't remember what game it was. He had 5 touchdowns.
He's a strong kid.
And they're not 5 touchdowns from the one. They're like 5 touchdowns from all over the field. Like every time he got the ball, he scored. Watch him.
Too much time between now and the draft. Too much.
There might be a running back that ends up being good in the NFL in this draft. What do I know? But this kid is really, really special. Like you said, he's strong. He's super fast. No one catches him. His highlight reel, and Fred, you just watched the highlight reel. Yeah. I'm just watching the highlight reel. And I know against Penn State, he didn't do much. All they did was say, you can do whatever you want. We're stopping him. I mean, it's like 45 minutes long, and it's all 60-yard runs or him taking on 3 tacklers.
Competition he played in his conference wasn't very good.
Boise
See what
State
he did against a good team like Penn State.
Penn State just said, you're not running, and you can do whatever you want. And guess what? Look at Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl. The Kansas City said, you're not running. And they said, okay, we'll throw. That's a good team does that. If Boise State's so good, they should have beat Penn State. Because Penn State just sold out and said, you're not running. Running backs aren't magicians outside of Barry Sanders. I mean, you're not, you load up, 8, 9 guys in the box. You're not getting past 9 guys. But he does against some teams. But against Penn State, no. All right, we'll be back. The NFL Players Report came out, and it's always funny. Because it doesn't have anything to do with how good you are either. But it is pretty interesting what the players had to say, and we'll go over it in just a moment.
Ryan and his team want to thank all the great men and women in the trades who get up early every morning to keep our homes and businesses running, keep working hard, and finish every job strong.
From the Town Fair Tire Studios, this is your home for every Patriots game.
Look into the end zone, trying to keep the play alive. Falling down, he throws to the end zone. It's caught! Touchdown!
WBZ-FM at HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Celtics played the second night of a back-to-back yesterday evening in Detroit and got blown out by the Pistons.
Sasser moves it right side. Beasley switches to the left hand. Hauser stays in front of him. Beasley forced a three switch. That dude came out of the womb shooting. 90-79. Fourth three of the night for Beasley. 10th for the Pistons.
That is Sean Grandy and Cedric Maxwell here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Malik Beasley made 6 threes on his way to 26 points during a 117-97 Detroit win. Jason Tatum, 27 points for the Celtics. The Green made 12 shots total inside the three-point line for the night. That's a franchise record low for one game. They play Cleveland at TD Garden tomorrow night. Bruins host the Islanders in that building this evening. They begin play 2 points out of a playoff spot. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Patriots have given defensive lineman Devon Godchaux permission to speak to other teams in an effort to facilitate a trade. Abdul Carter is the favorite now to be taken first overall in the draft in April, but there are some injury concerns. Already recovering from a shoulder problem, Carter's been diagnosed with a stress reaction in his right foot and is contemplating surgery. And the Red Sox lost an exhibition game to Tampa Bay and Fort Myers yesterday, 8-2. Alex Bregman played third base and drove in both Sox runs. The preseason continues today in Lakeland, Florida against Detroit. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning. 24-hour on-call service for your clogged drain emergencies. Go to johnsewer.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Get the app.
There's the potential there for big stuff.
98.5 The Sports Hub app. Get the app. Half toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
NFLPA report card came out earlier today.
I mean, it's really super funny. The reaction to this by some Patriots fans is really, really, really funny. And a little concerning, to be honest with you. But let's go to who did the categories are treatment of families, food dining area, nutrition dietitian, locker room, training staff, weight room, strength coaches, team travel, head coach, and ownership. Take ownership with a grain of salt. I believe last year Kansas City's owner got an F. I mean, they won the Super Bowl. I don't understand. So whatever. Cincinnati should always have the worst owner, but that honor goes to the Jets this year.
Yeah, Woody Johnson.
But yeah, you know why Woody Johnson got the F. I mean, he fired Saleh and he fired the general manager and he screwed everything up and he brought in players and he got Reddick in there and Reddick was a total disaster. So he deserves that F, and I understand why he got it. Carolina and Arizona, I didn't know how bad Arizona was, but Carolina's got a terrible owner. What's got to hurt for Kraft is that he got a D. And that I don't care who you are. If you're an owner of a team, it's got to sting a little bit, especially if you're Kraft and you think that you're like this Hall of Fame owner and everything.
And that you're buddies with a lot of the players.
Yeah, like you hug them and you stand in the locker room and like behind your back they think you suck. That's got to be just for him. I don't think it equates to anything, but it's got to suck. Like the Steelers, like they have a D for ownership, and I mean, they're considered one of the marquee organizations in sports.
But that stuff can swing. Like for instance, firing the head coach who apparently was popular with the players. That I'm sure contributes to the grade.
Oh, of course.
I mean, Gerard Mayo somehow got a B+. I don't know how Gerard Mayo gets a B+
because no coaches did bad. No coach did bad. If you go to the coaches, it's not a head coach. A+. The lowest grade for a head coach was a C from the Bears in Jacksonville, in Cleveland. That's as low as it gets. Everyone else is B. There's a million A's. There's a million A+. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 A+. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 A's. I mean, come on. Like, the head coach thing, you're pretty safe. Chicago fired their coach. Jacksonville fired their coach. And Cleveland did not. But there you go. That's what's going on there. Do you guys want to get specific with the Patriots? Maybe we should.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get specific with what's going on with the Patriots. The Patriots as a team did not do very well. They didn't last year either. Remember, they didn't have any places for the family places, which I contended must have been just ignorance, like they didn't know, like because that's something that's
easy to fix.
Yeah, like $50,000, you go put an area in for families to sit in. The Patriots ranked 30.
You think it's that easy, Freddie? Oh,
it has to clear insurance. He's talking, of course, about the Tanassi Golf Club house where my parents live.
Oh!
My dad screaming and yelling at me about how stupid I was, and it shouldn't take 3 years.
Just build a new clubhouse.
It burned down 3 years ago, and it's still not built. But my father is telling me that I just am not wise to the.
Sure.
Meanwhile, my club, when I didn't even want it to happen, no offense, Hardy, got a pickleball place conceived of, approved, and built in 3 days. So I don't know how that happened. Patriots ranked 31st overall this season, but there are signs of progress. Following last year's report, owner Robert Kraft announced a $50 million investment in a new facility adjacent to the stadium, which broke ground in December and is expected to open in 2026. After receiving an F- last year for its treatment of players and families, the team made immediate improvements, including hiring a staff member to manage family services and adding a family room and daycare during games, which again, I believe that was ignorance. I don't think they were willfully doing that. These changes were, again, they're so far behind because of Belichick. Like, I do think that the Crafts just didn't know. That's something that if you're at top of $1 billion organization, that's like a little below your pay grade.
Yeah.
I get that. These changes were well received, and players believe that family sport is now the team's biggest strength. So good for the Crafts. However, key facility issues remain, including the need to renovate the building, which they're doing, a cramped weight room, which they are fixing, and outdated locker rooms. Go screw yourself with the locker rooms, by the way. Your locker rooms are fine. Go to a high school. It's anticipated that these issues will be fixed when the new facility opens. Additionally, the team travel remains a significant concern. Only 39% of players feel they have comfortable amount of space on flights when traveling. The game is the plane is dated, it lacks Wi-Fi, and still has ashtrays in the seats. Now, this is interesting because they flew, to Germany on a plane with no Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And Andrew Callahan put something up that said, "Hey, the players don't like the plane. There's ashtrays in the seats, and there's no Wi-Fi available." To which there were super fans that responded to him, "Oh no, dumbass! All planes have ashtrays." and sure, I'm sure there's a place where you can put out a cigarette if it's lit. What housebound moron has not? What are you traveling solely in North Korea? What plane are you on, dumb that has ashtrays in the seat? Like what? That what are you? Did you just come out of? Were you frozen since 1962? That was really an argument. Oh, hey, dummy. Hey, Callahan, you stupid idiot who flies all the time for work. All planes have ashtrays. Not in the seat rest, you moron. Shut your effing mouth with that stupid crap. Oh, my God. Just announce you don't leave the house. Announce that you're literally housebound. Well, or agoraphobic mother ever.
This is funny. Like on this particular issue, this is where everyone becomes an expert. Everyone.
You can't just put Wi-Fi in. Of course not. No, it's impossible. You're flying. Yeah, you have two 737s or whatever the hell they are. There's no way. It would be too much to install it.
Yeah, everyone became an expert on ball pressure and the ideal gas law during Deflategate. Everyone became a legal expert during the Aaron Hernandez trial, and now we have people coming out as aviation smoking regulation experts. It's like, oh, no. And also Wi-Fi install costs.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
It's too prohibitive to put Wi-Fi in.
How about just like common sense? When's the last time you flew on a plane that did not at least offer Wi-Fi?
That where it was available? I don't know.
I can't tell you. Like a small commuter jet, maybe when we took the tour over the Grand Canyon a couple summers ago on a prop plane.
How many?
There's no Wi-Fi on that. I'll grant you that.
How many personal private planes do you think the Crafts use? 2 or 3?
Yeah, there's got to be a couple in the stable. Sure.
I'm sure they don't have Wi-Fi in them. I'm sure that they're flying all around with no Wi-Fi. They flew to Germany. Are you out of your mind not having Wi-Fi on that thing?
Zoe was talking about this yesterday. We should if he's listening right now, you could call them because they do take different planes for different trips. Like when it comes time for like the overseas trip, that's when they'll spring sometimes for like the nicer planes.
Okay.
So it's not always the same plane for every trip. So on some of these, it will be different. I didn't hear exactly what he said yesterday, but
the trip
he said
to Germany,
it's a noticeable difference when you get onto one of these flights where they have, secured different travel arrangements, and it's like, oh, everyone's got a pod up front, or at least all the players do, and it's like, this is nice. That's how some teams travel all the time.
And it's just interesting that the players are the ones saying this, but somehow it's the reporter's fault for reporting it. He's literally quoting the report. And that's the issue that you have. You love the Patriots so much that Andrew Callahan is such a moron for just saying what it says in the report. It says players want an upgraded team plane. The current plane is too small. There's no Wi-Fi available, and there are seats with ashtrays in the armrests. Players specifically responded that our plane is the worst thing. Size, space, safety. It's not conducted to preparedness and athletic performance. And by the way, if you have to watch film and stuff, I'd assume Wi-Fi might be good. And when you own an organization that's worth several $1 billion, it's too prohibitive to put Wi-Fi in. You stupid idiots.
That was
the wiring's not right.
That was the other thing. So I heard him say yesterday. It's like the movies on the plane, they do offer movies. Is that they haven't changed in years. Like he's watched the Johnny Depp movie Black Mass maybe 20 times because there's it's either that or Ghost,
right?
Or
no, and that's cheap, and that's not overlooked.
Another 48 hours.
Right.
Boy,
yeah, it's Birth of a Nation, and that's it. I'll tell you, that's easy to fix. You're just being cheap. Because, people call the Crafts cheap and they don't spend money and they don't spend anything. Look, whatever with the roster, that was all Belichick. But then you look at, you don't even have Wi-Fi and you still have cigarettes in the armrests of your team plane, get new team planes. Well, they're expensive. Well, good. Then get them.
They can afford them.
Why does everyone else have them?
They can afford
Why do you have the worst in the league?
The Crafts can afford whatever they want.
The Patriots aren't worth it. Let's go to what category is that, by the way? Because I'm just fascinated in the pushback. Is that all planes have ashtrays in them? Stupid. Oh, do they? No, they. What? That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
The team travel.
Is that team travel? Okay.
Yeah, 39% of the Patriots players report having a comfortable amount of personal space on team flights. The players feel the travel schedule is not very efficient, a rank of 30th out of 32 teams.
Yeah, Buffalo, New England, and Philadelphia all got Fs.
The current plane is too small.
Cincinnati got an A-. So if the Cincinnati Bengals can fly their players in greater luxury than you can, that's an issue.
Players specifically responded that, quote, our plane is the worst thing, size, space, and safety.
Yeah, I just read that, Jonathan, but don't you fret. But I'll tell you, such stable organizations like the New Orleans Saints and the Cincinnati Bengals all have A's in their team travel. Again, Philadelphia got an F, and they won the Super Bowl. This doesn't mean anything. I was just fascinated that there was an argument that all planes have ashtrays and that they are all in the seat. They're right there with every plane you fly.
Can you remember?
I take puddle jumpers to East Tennessee, to a Knoxville airport with 10 gates. I've never, ever, ever been on a plane with ashtrays in the seat next to the seat. Go ahead.
Ever in your life? Or
no, never going to East Tennessee.
Okay.
My parents have lived there for 20 years.
When was the last time that you remember that happening?
I mean,
thinking 40 years?
No, having and I think they were welded shut, but I remember seeing them like on old planes. Yeah, probably when I was first flying back and forth from like Boston to Vegas 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a really long time for me.
Yeah, I was on a plane that got canceled the day they got rid of smoking. I told you guys that.
Yes, yeah.
And then we flew from Tampa to Detroit the next day, and I was in the smoking section because my father smoked, and it did not go over well. They thought they should have been grandfathered in because they had specifically picked a flight where you could still smoke. So I told you there was a lawyer on the plane, a woman with a yellow legal pad, and she just spent the entire 2.5 hours writing on this legal pad a letter to the FAA and to the airline about how she should have been able to smoke. It was a tense flight. I will tell you that. It was a very tense flight. But I was in high school when that happened. So they got rid of smoking on planes when I was in high school. I can say that for sure, 1,000%. That was a trip that I took in high school.
So 30 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah, 32 years ago. Probably 33, 34 years ago. I was probably 16, 15. Because that was when they put us in the hotel that had pornography. And my mom wanted to stay in the same room as me, and I begged and begged and begged and begged and begged for her, please, don't make me, please let me stay in the room. And she wouldn't, and I lost my mind. It's like, because I was going to bite the bullet and just get it all. But I was just going to go crazy with the porn. All right. So there you go. The Patriots have some work to do. They have some work to do. There's no question. All right. We'll be back. We have a Hardy, in honor of Adam, has been scouring the internet for deals.
That's right.
We know Adam loves a good deal. And Adam, we like to do this bit with Adam expressing himself non-verbally. He gets a chance to express himself, but he can express himself through art. And we'll explain in just a moment.
$40.
Cough it up, and let's get back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
7:30. I had to coach my daughter's practice today. I remembered that we had to shoot, and I remember this is all because of me. And then I thought, oh no, I'm going to look ugly again for sure, but what am I going to do? So I was like, I don't own any adult clothes. So I had my daughter go into my closet, and I'm like, what should I wear? And she picks up, and she wasn't paying attention to my liking. So I said, So I started texting people, and I'm like, and it was too hard through text. So I ended up getting my ex-wife and bring her to my house. And going through the closet, and she's like, you don't have anything. And I'm like, And so now I'm just going to have to eat it. Now, because now the new photo, there's no excuse. It's all me. I'm the one who did this.
Did you bring something to wear today, or are you wearing that?
No, this, because she said to wear to wear black. What are you wearing?
Well, look, I'm in the same boat. I have very few grown-up clothes. That little shirt sweater combo was a Christmas gift.
Yeah,
so
I wasn't going to dress like that. Like, I wasn't going to do that.
And I don't want to either. I had a hoodie picked out that I was going to wear, but then I remembered if we're doing separate headshots today, just individual ones also, those are the ones that they send out or that you have on hand for, hey, you're going to be, the MC for this charity thing, or you're going to be the speaker at this thing. Do you have a headshot? And you want it to look kind of. I'm not going to wear a suit, but you want it to be something.
Yeah. The consensus from everyone I talked to was this just applies to me because of the way I am. They're like, you would look like you're trying too hard. So like, just wear. This is expensive, but it is. I think the main thing was it was black and it hides my breasts.
Oh,
that was what we were going for.
Okay.
As much as something can.
Sure.
So I feel and then I slept and I forgot, and then I didn't do my hair right and everything. Now it's all on me, and now I can't complain ever again.
No. Wallach, did you bring the shirt?
Yeah,
no, it's dirty. I thought about it. I can't bring it because it was dirty. I wore it another thing. I wore it out to dinner with friends last weekend, and I forgot to wash it. So I have a different button-down shirt.
Wash it or dry clean it?
Wash.
Oh,
wash, not dry clean.
You wash them in the washing machine? Your collared shirts?
It's not a very expensive shirt.
Doesn't matter.
That was like Gordon Gartrell. That thing's nice.
Oh, thank you.
The expense of the shirt isn't why you would get it dry cleaned. You would get it dry cleaned so you wouldn't ruin the shirt.
It's not ruined. The shirt is not ruined. No. So I have a different button-down shirt.
Because even Seinfeld's
change into
T-shirt eventually met its match.
But yeah, I have, like you guys, I have like 2 button-down shirts total.
I'm not wearing a button-down shirt. So anyway, I never really get annoyed with my daughter, and I got I didn't feel she was giving it enough gravitas. I didn't feel like she was putting enough attention on it. She kept looking in a full-length mirror at herself and playing with the dog and looking at her phone. And I went, all right, well, you're just not taking this seriously. and then I started, and then I had to take her to her practice, so I didn't have any time.
Right.
And then so it was just a whole disaster.
I hate thinking about things like this, and I was forced to think about it last night. And Marcy came into the closet when I was in there. She's like, "What are you doing?" Because I had a couple of different things out. What I really wanted to wear was a hoodie that my daughter got me for Christmas, which might be my favorite garment that I own right now. She picked out this great hoodie, and I love it, and it's comfortable. But then you got to have the discussion. Well, it's kind of textured, and it's a light color, which isn't great for photos.
Right, and they can't have a pattern. And all my shirts have very intricate patterns as I... I've saved all my lunch money to buy these.
Well, some of them are so intricate they cost $1,000.
Yeah, I mean they're really no, but seriously, you're not supposed to wear patterns. Ideally, I just want a woman to go here, and I just give her money, and then she goes here, and then in come clothes, and then every day the woman goes, "You wear this today," like Howard Stern had Ralph, like that kind of situation.
Yeah,
you just have someone.
Do you want a Ralph?
I want a guy with real messed up teeth. R.I.P. All right.
Is Ralph dead?
Yeah. You didn't know? We talked about that.
Oh, I forgot.
All right.
Sorry,
So here's the deal. We were talking about how the plane that the New England Patriots fly in still has ashtrays in the armrest. B-Real's concerned that Adam would be offended by that conversation as he is buying a new car that most certainly will have an ashtray in it. So we are now left to scour the internet. You are doing this, Hardy. Where do you find these items?
It's called the Nextdoor app, and one of my neighbors got signed up on it and invited me to participate on it. And I thought it was just a neighborhood communication device, literally for our neighborhood. Turns out it puts you... it gives you notices and updates from all over the town and surrounding towns. And it's not just about, hey, someone's going to be here to clean the fire hydrants on Tuesday. Be on the lookout. No, this is everything. This is petty arguments. These are, lost and found. And my favorite section, for sale and free. So not just my town, but surrounding areas, things that are for sale and free on the Nextdoor app. So the first time we did this, Fred, we thought this is really going to appeal to Adam 12 because there's going to be a lot of free stuff on there, and there's a real sense of community involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
That we invited him to not necessarily play along in the metaphorical sense, but literally play along. So I think Adam 12 is going to do that for us once again today. Is that correct, Adam?
All right, okay. So Adam...
He has taken a vow of verbal silence during the rest of this segment. He will not speak. He will only communicate through his trombone.
Right, which he got around when the Patriots team plane was built. And Adam... He loves the trombone. He loves things that are... He loves spaghetti dinners. So long ago, he told me he was going to a church spaghetti dinner, and I thought, that's not for you. That's for homeless people. That's why they have them. And he called it supper, too, which, was really like an old train jumping hobo. So you are going... How is this game played? You're going to give us the item, and Adam will tell us if it costs something or not, or what's going to happen?
No, you and Wallach will guess as to whether or not it costs anything, and then based on how much it costs or whether it's free, we'll get a reaction from Adam.
You going to play the intro?
Via the trombone.
Yeah, play the intro, sure.
In a time of ever-expanding global commerce, one remnant of small-town America has endured. A tradition among neighbors that proves the only true currency is kindness. And to be free, one must give of oneself. But alas, there are times when actual legal tender must be exchanged for goods and services. It is with this in mind that we now engage in the ultimate utopian test. Live free or buy.
Live free or buy with the items from the Nextdoor online marketplace or giveaway place. And then you guys just have to guess if it's going to cost you something or if you can just have it for free.
Okay.
You
But you're going to have to pick it up either way, right?
Yeah, okay.
Adam is basically equivalent of a Dixieland jug band.
I try to play along with the theme, but I can't figure out what key it's in.
Yeah, you're not good at... Well, to add insult to injury, you're not even good at trombone.
That's hurtful.
Well, I mean, you can't figure out how to play against a basic song.
Practices all the time.
Let's start with Brock's Mini Peppermint. Brock's Mini Peppermint candy canes. 200 plus mini candy canes made with real peppermint oil. This is located in Rentham. And the person says, I can meet you at the CVS by the barbecue place.
And they've never been inside my body. None of these have ever been inside my body. I'm just letting you know, they're not necessarily wrapped and they have an odd smell, but none of them have been inside of me.
Based on the photograph, it looks like they're all individually wrapped. Now the box says 260 Brock's peppermint candy canes, but there are only 260 of them have been consumed.
Adam's so nervous that it's not going to sound good. In the middle of you talking, he started testing out the drome, the bone. He just couldn't resist. All right.
Brock's Mini Peppermint Candy Canes. Is this free or do you have to buy it? Wallach?
Free.
No way. No
Free.
way. There's too many of them. they've not been inside a body.
The fact that she's willing to meet you to get rid of them tells me free.
Or maybe she thinks that they're valuable and like, hey, we're gonna barter on this thing, and part of it's gas money.
This is free.
Yeah. What does that mean?
I thought that sounded kind of sad.
Yeah,
everything he
you're
does sounds
interested
sad.
Or not? What does that mean?
Everything he plays is going to sound sad. He's a guy in his late 40s with a trombone that he runs around and plays with other losers on front porches.
Next up, the set of
Look
four.
at what he's wearing. It's very
set of 4 kids straw cups. These are made by Newbie. They are straw cups for kids. One can only assume they have been used. Set of 4.
Don't
kids.
worry, we've never had any vaccinations. We're a vaccination-free family.
This is in Auburndale.
What's a straw cup? I'm sorry, I don't know what it's
like a sippy cup, but it's got a straw. It's like a step up from a sippy cup.
Okay, can I ask you something about? You guys might have a better insight on to me than this. Is the idea like this is too much to throw away? Like, I don't want to throw this away because they're sippy cups that obviously your children have grown out of. When my children grew out of sippy cups, we disposed of them, thinking that, maybe that something a child spat in and got snot in and, had their hands that they didn't wipe properly and put them in, that maybe this wouldn't be something that someone else would want to give to their children with their compromised immune systems and things at that age.
Well, if you were to buy these online, I'm just looking right now, a Newbie 3-pack of no-spill straw cups, a 3-pack will cost you $9.99.
Right. So in order to avoid the $9.99, I know people who've done this too. They've put worthless crap up on Facebook Marketplace with the idea that now you took the time to put it up on Facebook Marketplace. And now these maniacs that want this stuff are coming by your house.
Which is part of the appeal.
Which is, yeah, like, why are you doing all this? You have plenty of money. Why are you doing this? Okay.
Set of 4 straw cups. I told you a 3-pack online, brand new, cost you $9.99. Is this free or are they giving it, or do you have to buy it?
I mean, to do this, you have to be a psycho money. Money.
Yeah. No, this is going to cost, even though it shouldn't. This is going to cost
$10.
Yeah.
I can't tell what's sad and what's not for me.
That I think is sad. He didn't want that.
Well, it all sounds so sad.
This is
play Nick Walking. Play Nick Walking.
That's him hustling.
That's him hustling.
There we go. There we go.
Lower tempo.
He's pretty good on that thing.
That was good right at the end, too.
But you got
Nick sitting down.
You got to be Rick Rubin back here telling him how to get the sound out.
Take your shoes off.
Yeah, man. Let's
Stroke
get in
your beard.
Yeah, let's just sit in silence for 30 seconds and get this going.
One more here. The Da Vinci Code DVD Extended Edition.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Now, this can be had in Cedar Brook. It's a 2-disc set with over 25 minutes of new footage.
Oh, my.
Oh, that's
so someone someone had a copy of the Da Vinci Code on DVD, took the time to take a photo of it, post it on here, write a description of it. Are they giving it away, or do you have to buy it?
That's a wad o' cash. You got to fork over for that.
And I'll tell you this person is of the mind that just because I've gone to streaming doesn't mean the world has. Like, I'm classier than all these stupid pieces of garbage. Again, I told you that at my father-in-law's mansion, his stepson-in-law had I went through his old Sports Illustrated, and he acted like I was stealing jewelry. So there's 1,050,000,000% that this is going for money. I will pose nude for our photo today if it is for free.
Absolutely free. He practiced that last night. That was not just off the cuff. He took out the bone last night.
All right, Freddie T. Bet to bet.
Is that right? Is that free for real?
That is absolutely free.
Huh.
All right, you want the photos taken naked? All right, you guys, I'm going to be naked right next to you, holding you. You still want it? You can back out of this. Adam, what do you think about me meeting naked? You keep making mistakes.
He's got to clean out the spit valve.
You keep making mistakes.
Oh, he's doing it.
He said, "Give me a second. I got to clean out the spit valve."
There we go.
Can you do something without a mistake? Does that sound right?
I don't know what he's doing.
No, but it goes at some points. He's shaking his head now, like he's in a groove. All right, let me ask you questions.
Ryan Beaton just quit.
All right, let me ask you. Let me ask you questions. You answer with your trombone, okay? I'm just going to mention things. Walden Pond. Jesus, you.
Oh, that's love music. He's in love with Walden Pond.
All right.
All right, we got.
All right, okay. Cars that use a lot of gas.
That was a strong no. That was what that was.
Free fresh donuts in the dumpster behind Dunkin'.
We got to go to break.
Go ahead, just answer this last one. But there's a bear claw in there. All right, very good. Thank you.
Live free or buy.
We have to go to break until he wants to play along. All right, here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub.
explosion.
98.5.
We're the one who told him to bring it in.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? So someone said, like, why would the players care? It wasn't like they were actually asking, why would players care? And I think it's because if you're like most people that don't like to fly, it's a little concerning that there's still ashtrays in the armrest, that you're flying on a plane that's old enough, that it's been around that long, that it's that antiquated. I think that's kind of what the fear would be, is that, and it's also evidence of that it's not like a luxury aircraft, that obviously it's just an old ass plane that they bought from an airline and now they're reappropriating it for their own use. And again, you know, the New Orleans Saints and the Cincinnati Bengals, two teams with no money, you know, relatively speaking, both got A's for their team travel. So it's not something. And then someone all said to us, they're like, I'd rather planes aren't cheap. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm aware of that. These commercial airliners they're not.
Buying like jumbo 747s and stuff?
Yeah, they're cost prohibitive.
Okay.
And they said, I'd rather have that going into the team. And again, they're both possible. You don't, like the Cincinnati Bengals have good. Yeah. That someone besmirched your organization. Yeah, they did. The players. The NFLPA does this for a reason. It's to publicly shame the teams. I mean, they do. And I bet you anything it bothers Kraft that he got a D as an owner. It just has to. It would bother anyone. You know, he's in the locker room. He feels like he's a part of the team. He says all the time, I'm a fan. And I believe he believes he's a fan. I mean, he grew up being a fan. He had season tickets, all that trope. And I do believe that. And, you know, he's friends with Meek Mill and Jay-Z and stuff. I think he believes he resonates with younger people. And to know that the team is not a fan of his, and they weren't last year either, so it's not even the Mayo thing, would bother me.
He's listening. Of course it bothers him. He's listening. You say, you know, the grade came out that you don't have a family area. The very next year you have a family area. The grade comes out that, you know, the workout room sucks. Well, here's $50 million within the next year. We're going to break ground on a new workout facility for you.
And again, a lot of this, I think, is Belichick's problem, because I believe it's ignorance from the Krafts. Again, you are worth billions and you're operating a team that's 365 days a year, and there's all this that goes into it. I don't think the family area of your stadium falls under your guidance. You know, like, you've got too much on your plate that falls to someone underneath you. And look, they found out about it, and to their credit, they're fixing it. They're making this new, you know, their new facility to work out in and everything else, and that's great. So yeah, they're fixing these problems. It's the defense of the Krafts that I find fascinating. Because even the Krafts would probably tell you, yeah, the plane's not great. But you go, no, all planes have ashtrays in between the seats. Well, that's just not true. You have gone too far now.
Now I must push back.
You
have called me onto the carpet.
Yeah, your lack
which may need to be replaced.
Your lack of any kind of real world experience is frightening. Not that you wouldn't know that there aren't ashtrays on planes, but that you would feel the need to publicly announce, hey, stupid, all planes have ashtrays, not in between the seats. I can tell you that. And I haven't been overseas in many years, but I can still tell you, even on a flight from Philadelphia to Knoxville, there's no ashtrays in between the seats. That was too far. That was too much. I can no longer hold my tongue.
I've never even seen the ones near the airplane bathrooms because I won't go to the bathroom.
Well, there were people that investigated, and the FAA says there needs to be a place to put out cigarettes in case someone was to light a cigarette.
Right. But I haven't even.
Well, of course you don't see them because they're not. There's probably one in there. Where the hell is it? What are you going through after the plane lands and everyone gets off? Are you snooping around? Who the hell would know where that is, except for the flight attendant? No, all planes. And they couldn't put Wi-Fi in.
No.
Oh, no, they couldn't? It would be impossible. There's no way. Everyone, just sometimes you're not right. I know I'm not right sometimes. This I know I'm right about. All right, very good. When we come back, our own Alex Barth, who probably took a plane with, knowing this company, probably took a plane with, that was maybe just a lit cigarette. Maybe the pilot was smoking down to Indianapolis. But Alex Barth is there, and it's a pleasure to have him. He's down there. He's very happy to be there, and we'll talk to him in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
When the game tips off, the NBA action is just beginning on.
describes himself in 7 words.
A guy in tights and a cape.
And Hardy with blunt honesty.
I am not known as Mr. Fun.
Toucher and Hardy continues on the Sports Hub.
Yeah, definitely defensive end, edge rusher, but I feel like I can play wherever my coaches need me, and wherever they feel a need, that's where I play.
I take it that's Abdul Carter. We are Toucher and Hardy by FanDuel Sportsbook. We're going to get to Alex Barth in a second, but there are some interesting phone calls on. Ben, go ahead, Ben.
Fred, I agree with you. I know the internet is not always the best place to go when it comes for intelligent sports takes, but between Twitter and the old people at Facebook, their comments about the players complaining about the old planes were, how about they start winning? They're entitled and make them take a bus. And it's like, you wouldn't want the players to be happy. You wouldn't want the players to feel like their ownership cares about them. It's just wild to me how uneducated and just idiotic some Patriots fans are.
Yeah, you're a 350-pound guy that's going to be on a plane, a day before you got to, perform in front of an audience of millions, and you have the audacity to want to travel with some sort of comfort. I mean, these aren't normal-sized people. And again, these are the players complaining about it. It's not the press, and it's not the difference between winning a Super Bowl or not. It's just funny because of the way it was described, that there's no Wi-Fi, which is inexcusable, and that there are still ashtrays between the seats. And selfishly, the reason I like this so much is because it's so dumb, and it's these people that blindly just are the build the wall people.
Still holding up that big blue wall.
But the idea that the people that are holding up this wall also are unaware that planes no longer have ashtrays between the seats makes their opinion to me.
Yeah.
I will never listen to it again. I will never take anything they say seriously again. It would be like if the guy was doing your taxes was like, oh, did you smoke on the plane on the way home? You just got back from the Bahamas, right? Did they let you smoke? You're like, you're doing my taxes? Not anymore. You're not. This is pretty common knowledge, and it's not just not knowing it either. It's the attacking of the writer who reported it as if he's a buffoon. And you're so smart.
You're so certain.
And you're so certain about something that's so plainly wrong. And it's so refreshing because now you're just stupid. And I'm never listening to you again. Whatever might have ever bothered me about anything you said or any of you said is now gone. That you are someone who literally is so trapped in whatever world you're in that you are unaware that smoking has been banned from planes for 30 plus years. AC, I did not know this. AC, this is interesting. Go ahead.
What is something you did not know?
What you're about to say.
I told your producer, you scum. Matter of fact, good morning. Thank you so much for taking my call. I think that's the best way to start. Okay. You scumbag of the earth. You need to stop making fun of Mr. Feinbaum callers. There's some stupid callers out there, but we're passionate. Why don't you make something relevant? Why don't you tell your callers to be more passionate so you don't have to make fun of the Feinbaum callers? Can you do that for everybody on the Feinbaum Nation?
AC, where are you from?
I'm your tribal chief.
Okay, yeah, I know you're a character, but where are you from? I'm not Paul Feinbaum, so I don't know. I don't listen to his show very often. I love Paul. But where are you from?
Of course you do. But you like to make fun of his callers. Yes.
Yeah, because you're doing a character, but where are you from really? Just what region
serious.
of the country?
I'm not in the stupid fat United States. I mean Bangladesh. If you're listening to the show,
what school
you would be listening as well.
What school do you root for in college football?
I don't have a school.
So you listen to Paul Feinbaum and you don't like college sports?
I watch college sports, but who said you have to have a team to watch the sport?
Where did you go to school? Where did you go to school?
Back home. Didn't I say I'm from Bangladesh? Aren't you not listening?
Where in Bangladesh did you name 3 cities?
Why the hell do you care? You didn't answer
because
my question.
AC,
You're
because AC,
flip-flopping like as always.
because AC,
The
I
way
don't
you
think you're
always
from
do, you
Bangladesh.
punk. This is the scumbag
AC,
that we have to deal
AC.
with. Your stupid show makes me sick, and I don't give a damn about your stupid show. You're so
AC, are there ashtrays in the planes in Bangladesh?
We don't give a damn about your damn thing, all right?
AC,
what's the
AC,
official?
do you
What's the
sit
official?
backward?
What's the official language of Bangladesh?
Are you that dumb?
No. What is it?
What is it?
It's Bengali, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
Wait,
Maybe
here's
he's in
the thing.
reaction
No. The reason you asked me this question because
AC, are you still angry with Zach about the Kelly situation?
What situation?
Albert, is your name Albert Clifford, like the AC on Saved by the Bell?
I don't know who the hell.
Are you
he
on the
is.
wrestling team?
Do you sit backwards in chairs?
AC. AC.
No. I sit back in the chair to see your callers, listeners, and your show is going to crumble pretty soon.
If you hate this show so much, why are you calling?
How disgusting your show is. I don't care about your stupid show.
Why are you calling then?
You dumbass.
Why are you calling?
You couldn't get Blind Scott on?
Oh.
Blind
That
Scott
would've
was
been
going to argue
interesting.
him.
Yeah.
All right. He knew Bengali.
All right.
But he will not cop to still fighting with Zach. So that makes me think that's still going strong. R.I.P. Screech. All right. Well, listen.
What you think?
I don't know, Dwayne.
I don't know, but I'm not going on with the show any further.
Yeah.
Blue,
Put the buyout in.
Alex Barth is in sorry, I'm calling from Bangladesh. Big Alabama fan.
Hey, Paul.
Alex Barth from Blue Bear Heating and Air at Blue Bear. They're here to keep your home comfortable year-round. From expert plumbing, drain cleaning, heating tune-ups, maintenance, and installs, they do it all. Trust the local company your neighbors rely on. Visit bluebearplumbing.com. Alex, hi. Do you have anything to say about the Paul Feinbaum brothers?
I could have done another 5-10 minutes listening to that guy get very emotional about a show he apparently doesn't care about.
Blind Scott was on hold, and I wanted to merge the call in with him and have Blind Scott, who emails 17 times a day, talk to that guy, a super fan of us against a super fan of Feinbaum.
Great.
Oh,
But Adam couldn't figure it out.
Well, you've got the phone right there.
No, but I don't know if it's in my control anymore. Like I don't know what's going on with it now because Adam takes control of it, and I didn't want to hang up on the guy.
They
yelling.
won't let you do it anymore.
Yeah, once I got out of the booby hatch, they won't let me.
It is possible. We'll get it done, but the guy dropped off.
Yeah, work on it for next month.
Well, I was telling you for a good 30 seconds.
Maybe he'll call back.
Yeah, get your trombone out. You're all jazzed up from that.
Hey,
all right, Alex, how is it going in Indianapolis? Is it fun?
Yeah, it's been good. It's my first time at the Combine. There's a lot going on. It's busy, but it's been, the station's football nerd. It's been cool to be immersed in it here for the last couple of days.
Yeah, and so what is because I know, obviously, you're there for the Elliott Wolf press conference, and you're there, for the Combine, and you're going to watch that stuff, but everyone we talk to, and writers like yourself, it's really what goes on after hours and the kind of information you can get while people are loose and they're out. Have you been hitting the places and hanging out and talking to people?
Yeah, definitely. Been doing that. Been here 3 nights. Finally got to do St. Elmo's last night. That's kind of the staple you hear a lot of people talk about. The shrimp is as advertised. That was pretty good. But yeah, you go out and you see, you'll see people that you only see on Twitter during the year or on TV or whatever, people from teams. And it's, anybody you could think of that's maybe an NFL personality, you'll see just walking down the street.
Okay, so the big thing yesterday was Abdul Carter. There was a shoulder injury, but he was going to be able to do his pro day at Penn State. Now there's a foot problem, and there's 2 options. I guess Rosenhaus is his agent, that either he'll rehab it and still do his pro day, or he'll take surgery now and be out 8 weeks. Is that going to affect his draft position, do you think?
I can't imagine it will.
Oh.
Just because of the rest of this class, right? There's not necessarily if Carter is the foot, we'll go to player B because we have them graded equally. Maybe Travis Hunter, but then you get to the second player in the draft, and it's the same thing unless the team wants to take a quarterback. So, if he's going to be out longer than 2 months, it would be a bigger deal, but he'll be back for spring practices if he has a surgery now. And there really isn't, I don't think teams are going to be clamoring for, well, now Will Campbell's flying up the board, or now Ted McMillan's flying up the board because Abdul Carter might miss the first week of OTAs. I just, because of the way the class is structured, I don't think this hurts him that much, if at all.
Okay, so Jeff Howe had a report that the guys he's talking to don't like these quarterbacks more than even he was aware of. Are you getting that sense too? What are people saying about, Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward?
So I think as a whole, teams are not high on this quarterback class. But when you look at it from a Patriots point of view, you really only need 3 teams to be high on a quarterback to help you out in this draft. And that's the 3 ahead of them, the Titans, the Giants, and the Browns. And it does kind of sound like the Browns and the Giants especially may be more interested in a quarterback. If you look at the Giants specifically, Joe Shane, Brian Daboll, people are surprised they got back. They're probably in it for their jobs this year. They need to figure out something at quarterback. If they don't make the playoffs, they're probably going to get let go at the end of the season. Now, maybe that's in free agency, but you have the rumbling, maybe not, depending on what you're hearing at Starbucks, that Matthew Stafford is going to go to the Raiders. So that could, take an option off the table for the Giants. But I still think those teams are in. But I don't, a quarterback falling to 4 and somebody giving up a haul to the Patriots, that feels less likely at this point.
Yeah, I asked someone else this the other day, Alex, about how much your mind can change based on what you see as a scout or a coach at the combine. And of course, you can have your opinion change on a player, but I think maybe in past years it would affect your decision on a player that you'd be looking at for the 3rd or 4th round. This year, maybe it has the potential to affect your opinion on a player that you might end up selecting in the 1st or 2nd, just based on the strength of the overall draft.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's how those players are viewed. I talked to somebody yesterday about the wide receivers position specifically, and a lot of people know Ted McMillan from Arizona, who's towards the top of the draft, but I asked him, after that, where's the next guys? And there's a group of receivers, Emeka Egbuka, Matthew Golden, Luther Burden, that are currently projected to be late 1st, early 2nd round picks. And this person told me, I don't know if they'll go before the 3rd, or I don't know if they should go before the 3rd, just based on their talent in a typical draft. So teams are going to treat more of these players, especially at positions like tackle, receiver, where this draft is thinner, quarterback. I think they're going to treat some of those guys more like mid-round picks than they maybe would in other years. I'll just say this, though, to the changing opinion of prospects. Quarterbacks, that's always a little bit more at the combine because it is such a mental position. So to be able to meet with the guys and sit in a room with them and kind of get an understanding of their thought process and their personality, that can impact the stock more than it would for a guy at another position.
Alex, you mentioned Ted McMillan, and I think I'm saying Ted. It's Ted, right?
Yeah.
I know his name is impossible to pronounce. Ted McMillan. All right. Now, he's all over the place. We talked to a draft expert, quote unquote expert, that said he would have been rated around Odunze last year if he was in the draft. Then you're hearing that teams don't have him in the top 10, top
within
15.
the last week, he's sliding.
He's all over the place.
Yeah.
His film, from what I've seen, he's big, he's slippery, but he doesn't look lightning fast. What, in the Patriots obviously need a receiver.
Right.
Are you hearing that would be a big reach at 4?
Yeah, that seems to be the case because, look, he's very technically skilled. He moves well. He's got great hands. He's good at the catch point. But the league is trending more and more towards wide receivers that are elite athletes. And it's, we'll go find this great athlete and teach him how to play receiver. McMillan's the antithesis of that. So it's copycat league. People follow trends. He's a talented player, but he bucks the trend so much of what teams want at that position. And without top-level athleticism, there always are questions about talent translating to the NFL. So I think 4 would be a reach. I still think he's going to go in the top 10 just because of the value of the wide receiver position overall. But, yeah, it seems like every day I'm here, I'm hearing that he's fallen another 1 or 2 spots.
And people make fun of it, but there is a very important arm measure coming up. And what are you hearing about this?
Well, which one? There's a couple. So Mason Graham's is today. We'll hear about that today. And then I'm sure you're talking about the one Will Campbell on Sunday.
Yeah, Will Campbell, if you don't know, Will Campbell is considered to be the best tackle in the class, but there are concerns about his arm length. And I've heard good GMs make a good point about it. Yeah, there's exceptions to every rule, but I don't want to make that exception.
Because
Which is
once you make one,
right, exactly,
you have a whole team worth of them.
You know, it's easy to like poo-poo it, but if that's the industry standard and he's not it, you know, you're taking a big chance taking someone with any question marks at 4. What are you hearing about him? And how big is this measurement thing happening?
Yeah, it's big. I think you're taking a risk with anybody at 4 in this draft. And Mike Vrabel talked about this on Tuesday, that arm length is good as long as you know how to use it, right? If you have 34-inch arms, but you don't know what you're doing, that's not going to get you as far as having 33-inch arms, but being very technically skilled. So it sounds like Campbell's going to be right on that 33-inch number. And to your point, Fred, you know, everybody breaks, you know, there's exceptions to the rule, but where are you willing to make that exception? Every team probably has a different number. Is he a tackle at 32 7/8, at 33 flat, at 33 1/4? And that's what it's going to come down to. The Titans, when Mike Vrabel was there, had some shorter armed offensive linemen, so maybe that's in play. But it's also going to set the top of the draft, because if Will Campbell's a guard, he's still going to be a very good guard, but guards don't go in the top 10.
That's so funny, because I was going to ask you that. If you take Will Campbell at 4 and he ends up being a good guard, like a 10-year guard, is that a whiff of a pick, in your opinion?
Like for this, where the Patriots are right now,
Yeah.
At 4 it is. Hell yeah,
Well,
at 4
because that adds to the pressure, because you have to think of that.
Right.
Because if I take Will Campbell and he becomes a solid NFL player, but he's a guard, and I took him at 4, that's still a miss if I'm the front office.
It absolutely
which
is.
makes this pick even more precarious, because you would think, oh wow, well we got a starter for the next 10 years, but based on where you're picking, that would still be considered
and you have guards
a miss.
already that are starting capable. You don't need a guard. You need a tackle.
Correct, but I mean, you know, guards do get taken in the top 10, like elite guards. They have getting taken in the top 10, top 15, but and then they get hurt all the time. All right, I'm thinking of one in particular. All right, look, Alex, please stay on with us. So much more to talk about. It's exciting. I don't know why we don't have you on more often, but you seem to be the property of Felger and Maz, to be honest. Is I think what my opinion has been, but I appreciate you joining us. Let's put you on hold and come back to you in just a moment. Well, we'll be right back.
think it's probably not responsible to spend the whole thing. But again, that's not to say we won't do it if there's a player out there that obviously players out there that can fill a role for us.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Alex Barth from 98.5thesportshub.com is big NFL writer. He is down at the Combine. He's on with us. John, you got something for us?
Yeah, the more we talk about this draft, at least in this conversation, the more I realize that it's probably better if the Patriots trade back. I mean, you were saying, anything is a risk. It comes with risk at 4. Yeah. So if you were the Patriots, do you trade back? And if you do, how far do you drop?
So I think you try. The thing is, like, I hear people say, well, Will Campbell, I don't love the risk at 4, but I'd love to take him at 7. Okay. Well, who's going between 4 and 7 for him to get there, right? It's kind of who are teams moving up for? If they can get, a top 50 pick and a future top 50 pick to move back 3 or 4 spots, I think that's ideal. I look at the Raiders at 6. If they are sold on a quarterback, do you get 37 in a future second? And now you have 37 and 38 in the second round and room to maneuver. How far back would I go? I mean, look, if somebody's willing to give up like future firsts, I'll go back to the 20s. Realistically, I think you want to stay in the top 10, 12 picks. That's kind of where the draft drops off to that next tier. And that's where you start talking about a guy maybe like Tyler Warren, the tight end out of Penn State, or one of these Georgia linebackers, Micah Williams, Jalen Walker.
Okay. Is there a player that you think would it be like Shedeur Sanders or something? If you're a Patriots fan, you want quarterbacks taken before the Patriots pick.
Right.
But if one's not by 4, like the 3 teams that need quarterbacks, and then there's like a Vegas sitting there, is that kind of what you're rooting for at that point? Like, what are you rooting for in the top 3 if you're a Patriots fan?
2 quarterbacks and not Abdul Carter, right? For this Abdul Carter injury to be just serious enough that for whatever reason, one of those teams wants to pass on him, the other 2 decide to take quarterbacks, but the injury is not significant enough that it really impacts him, right? The other interesting scenario, and I heard you guys talking about this last week, is what if you go 2 quarterbacks and Carter at the top? Well, now Travis Hunter's sitting there, and Travis Hunter comes with some risk as well. Tremendous player, but comes with some risk. And the Patriots have kind of talked like they want to focus on the trenches in this draft. Do you take Travis Hunter at 4? Or, you might get more of a haul for him than you get for either of the quarterbacks. You consider moving back. I think I saw you guys would take Hunter there. It would be a really tough decision. I would at least look at what I'm getting, right? If you're going to get a first-round pick, a second-round pick, a future first, that's a lot when, look, Travis Hunter's a great player. This team doesn't need a great player. They need multiple great players.
Yeah, and if a team was willing to trade to 4 and give up future firsts in better drafts, I would be very surprised. But if I was the Patriots, I certainly, in that case, I'd trade the
anything
pick.
Short of that, though, you absolutely take Travis Hunter.
Right.
You just need players.
Right. Like if it was just to move down and acquire more picks in this draft, I probably would take Travis Hunter.
I'm with you.
Yeah, based on what people are saying about how much better Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter are than anyone else in this draft. Because, again, I know it's a position, one of the very few positions that you already have a competent starter, like an all-pro level starter at. But there's worse problems to have than, 2 great corners. Yes.
I will say, like, being here, I'm hearing more and more that there are teams that view Hunter primarily as a wide receiver. The Browns, Barry, their GM, said that that's one of those teams. There's a handful more as well. I do wonder if the Patriots are maybe in that camp where they would draft Hunter to play receiver. It's a bigger need. I still think he could be a great player at that position. Maybe they bring him in and he's playing offense here.
Does his size kind of scare you in that? Is he does he win the Heisman last year if he's only a receiver? You understand what I'm saying? Is he this big a prospect if he's only a receiver? It's his novelty and his athleticism that makes him so unique.
I don't think he'd be as popular. I don't know if he'd have won the Heisman, but he would be the best or second best receiver in this draft. Yeah, absolutely. The size is the big concern, and durability, which was an issue in college, is the big concern. But when you talk about this draft, right, you're not going to get anybody without that sort of question. I would have him. You talked about last year, McMillan is kind of rated similarly to Odunze. I would have Hunter right there as a receiver in that same group.
Okay, so in terms of free agency, it doesn't look great at the receiver position, so maybe you are looking for a receiver. It looks like T. Higgins won't be available. Godwin might not be available. If you're the Patriots, where are you investing your money? What would be an ideal free agent period for you, for the Patriots this offseason?
I think you hammer the trenches. I think you have the recognition that although they want that wide receiver and they need that guy's just not available right now unless, these rumblings about DK Metcalf become true and he's suddenly available, or somebody else randomly, some receiver requests a trade, which does happen.
Real quick, though,
trade came out of nowhere.
What would you give up? Like DK Metcalf, if Seattle's willing to give up on him, I would assume is not as good as he was, and is not going to be that same kind of receiver.
Andrew Callahan wrote about this. He said a 2 and a conditional 4. That was his proposal.
Would you give up a second-round pick for DK Metcalf now?
Yeah, I think if he gets moved, it's because they can't figure out a new contract more than the ability.
Okay.
So I look at the Brandon Ayuk offer last year, and Metcalf's a little bit older. He's not coming off quite the same production. So you trim that down a little bit, and it would be a second and a fourth. And especially in this draft, I look at that, the 4th-round pick, whatever, at 38, you're not getting a player, especially a receiver, better than DK Metcalf at 38. And let's say you move down from like 4 to 6 and you get a second-round pick. Well, now you've recouped that pick, and all it took to get Metcalf was moving down 2 spots.
Yeah, and in that scenario, I see it. What worries me about it is that conceivably when you're really competing, right? Like when you're in a place where you're going to be really competitive, is Metcalf a part of that, right? Like the trenches, I understand because there's a tangible, immediate result of that. You're protecting May. You're protecting his fundamentals, his mechanics. You're protecting his health. You don't have an NFL offensive line which you just can't not play with. I understand that the receiver position is also valuable for him.
Yeah,
but it's not as tangible right away. So I don't know. You talk to people, and if the second round of this draft sucks, certainly if you can recoup a second-round pick by trading down, then then the DK Metcalf thing seems a lot better. Where does the offensive line in free agency look, and how much is it going to cost the Patriots? Is there going to be a lot of competition?
Yeah, because there's not a lot of guys available, and it sounds like this week Ronnie Stanley's going back to Baltimore. That was the top tackle. So you're talking about Alaric Jackson from the Rams, who's been inconsistent, and he's also a short-arm guy. You're talking about Cam Robinson from the Vikings, who's probably a bridge player at this point. And I think those are the only two definitive starting left tackles. After that, you're talking about guys who you're going to want to be in a competition. So that's part of the reason, to go back to Metcalf real quick, I would make that trade if there was a DK Metcalf equivalent available a tackle. I would absolutely rather do that. But that guy's not there because there's not enough tackles, especially left tackles, for all 32 teams right now. So any team that has a guy that can play isn't letting him get out of the building because it's going to be incredibly difficult to replace him. So that's the big question. We all know tackle is the biggest. What exciting benefits do you get as a Hurts? Between free agency, between the draft, there just really are not a lot of options, and it's going to create competition. These guys are going to end up getting paid much more than they're probably worth because they can command it, because it's such an important position, and there are no other options.
Okay, so if that's not an option in free agency, is there a chance that somebody? I mean, they're going to be drafted. There are going to be left tackles drafted. Is there anyone that you're thinking? All right, not a lot of conversation about this guy. Might even be a 3rd or a 4th rounder, but he could actually end up being a starter after a year or two.
So Anthony Belton from North Carolina State, big guy, 6'6", 340, plays on the left side there. Good athlete for his size. His footwork is the big question, which sometimes those bigger guys that aren't as technically sound move to right tackle in the NFL. Now, they could use a right tackle as well, so that wouldn't necessarily be a bad pick. Of the day 3 tackles, he's probably my favorite, but he's hardly a guarantee.
Okay.
All right.
It's so concerning to think that you might end up with a guy who is going to be truly a guard at best, and I understand they do get drafted sometimes high up. You mentioned it earlier, Fred. It just doesn't happen all that often, and talk about a position.
It's not a Cole Strange every year.
Well,
yeah,
but Positions of need. I would love to have DK Metcalf here, and if it's a second and a fourth to have it, I mean, the guy plays. He's missed 3 games in the entirety of his career. 3 games. So the guy plays, and he's out there, and he'd be a veteran presence, and all that's great. But I don't want to be giving up any draft picks if it means there's somebody down there that could turn into a left tackle for this team, even if it's a year or two down the line.
Well, they have enough draft capital where they can move around the board, right? If that 4th round pick they trade for Metcalf is how they'd get Belton, they have a 5th, 3 7s. Like, they can move back up and get the guy they need to. They have a ton of flexibility, so I wouldn't worry about it so much in that regard.
All right.
I won't worry.
What's on the what's Alex Barth Day like today?
So I'm recording a couple podcasts after this. I'll have Trags on. Mike Petraglia, who used to be in Boston, he covers the Bengals. Going to see if there's any chance maybe T. Higgins becomes available. Travis Hunter is speaking today at 11 o'clock, so we'll get some insight from him, hopefully, on what position he wants to play, what position teams want him to play, things like that. I'll have Phil Perry on a podcast later today as well, do a podcast with Matt Dolph, and then the workouts start at 3 o'clock, so we'll start getting into some of that stuff.
Well, I have to ask you about this. There was apparently a lot of drama at the whole combine yesterday because this guy Schultz, he put a report out that Brady flew Matthew Stafford out to some luxurious ski resort out there in the West, and then Ian Rappaport said that's not true. And then what happened, Alex? You know what happened between the two.
There was a should I say alleged, I think, based on that story, an alleged verbal altercation between the two at a Starbucks over whether or not Rappaport, I think Schultz was upset. Rappaport called him out, but if he's hearing something different, right, he said something different. But face-to-face, I think, was the phrase they used in that PFT article.
Is Schultz
face-to-face in the Starbucks?
How big a guy is Schultz? Because Rappaport's no large man. How big is is Schultz? Do you know?
I've never seen him in person. He's not. I think it's just like average size.
Okay.
From what I can kind of gather.
But you got to love that. If you're in that Starbucks and you yourself are an NFL writer, you have to be on pins and needles when that's happening. That's like a gift from God.
Well, on the flip side, so I saw in that article, they mentioned they were taking statements from witnesses. Imagine not really following the NFL, and then these NFL security people coming up and asking you about 2 reporters fighting. You're thinking, what did I walk into?
Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, I didn't know I was in the midst of such great celebrity. I've shared a steam room with Ben Volen once, I'll have you know. Maybe even more than once.
I didn't know that.
Oh, he belongs to my gym. All right, Alex Barth, have a great time. We appreciate it, and maybe we'll talk to you again this week if you'd have us. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Anytime.
All right. Well, it's Thursday, so I guess not. All the days kind of blend together at this time of year. But there you go. Alex Barth. Thank you so much, Alex. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
The great Alex Barth is down there. And good for the station for sending Alex Barth down there. And
sounds like he's got a lot to do.
Yeah, and all that's going to be up at 985thesportshub.com, at 985thesportshub on Instagram and Twitter. Follow all of that. We have a real reporter down there doing real world work, and he hasn't gotten in a fight yet. I do like the idea of 2 reporters fighting.
The best part is NFL security had to be called. That's the best part of all of this, is that they're looking into the matter.
It's like
no
high
punches
school.
were thrown. Just 2 people yelled at each other. One person yelled. The other one's like, get away
now,
from me.
Now, Rappaport works for the NFL, but if I'm Schultz, I'm like, I'm not talking to you, security guard. I got nothing to talk to you about. Well, listen, that was the NFL, but now it's time to get to the real news, which is, Adam, you don't even know about this, but there is a opportunity for you that's a real opportunity. This is not a joke, and it's not setting you up for a joke.
Okay.
And it involves Sarah from Everett. It's a transaction, it's a legal transaction involving something you need.
Okay.
All right. So
Yeah, sure.
this is available,
All
and
right.
we will talk to her. So Sarah from Everett.
Will I need my trombone for this?
No, please,
Okay.
please. I can assure you won't.
Just making sure. Can I put it away now, or are you going to call for it during email like you did last time?
No, I might need Nick. And then if I need Nick, I need you playing live.
And let's not start writing checks that we may not be able to cash. I've asked Sarah to call in at 8:45.
No.
I have not received a reply.
Does Sarah do we have Sarah's phone number?
We must.
All right, Sarah.
I don't have it.
Sarah, will you please just call in, for God's sakes? All right, Sarah, call in. It's enough. The one time we need you. You can't call in? All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
He
The right and never wrong.
Right here. Is that Dutcher or is that Hardy?
Ina looks like a poodle. It's an effing poodle, dumbass. And she's a huge fan of Hardy's, and she followed Hardy from the midday show to this show. And yet she emailed Hardy this morning. He asked her to call, and now all of a sudden she can't be found.
Well, now she's playing hard to get.
No.
It's typical Sarah from Everett because she's always on the phone for no reason and always emailing for no reason. But then there's finally a reason.
I argue that she always has a reason, and I welcome each and every one of her electronic mails and telephone calls. But in this case, we would like to speak to you right now, Sarah, because, well, I'll just tell you what she emailed me. Car for sale for Adam 12.
Ooh.
Now, Adam, what's your situation with your car currently?
My car died on the way home from the station on Monday. Was it Monday? No, it was Tuesday. And I am now. It is not resuscitatable, if that's even a word. You guys know, obviously, the Subaru had 205,000 miles on it. This was the plan all along: drive it into the ground, get as much out of it as I could. So yes, I am in the market for a new automobile. I've been doing some research, some reaching out, asking around. So any leads, I'm welcome. Bring them.
Do you think it was the copper wire you had taken out of the abandoned homes that weighed it down?
Well, no.
What was the last death nail?
Well, what it was is I think someone stole the catalytic converter, and that's what happened.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. So what are you doing with this dead Subaru now?
It's sitting in my at my mechanics to figure out what's next.
Okay.
Probably donate it.
Cars for kids.
There you go.
You're going to donate it?
Probably, yeah.
For scraps?
Yeah.
Now
I think that's probably all.
No, for you. You're going to donate it actually for
yes,
scraps.
Now, when we asked Adam 12 yesterday,
Yeah, see?
what his dream car was, he said it was a Subaru Crosstrek XV hybrid, which they do not make anymore. A gentleman emailed me last night. He found one on Craigslist, a 2015, with only 2,000 miles on a new transmission.
Oh,
I see. Yeah,
which was replaced at 98,000 miles.
Sure.
But other equipment, it's got tires, it's got new batteries.
But it has tires on it. Huh?
$12,950, and it's only in South Carolina.
Yeah, and it's on its second transmission.
He gave like flight information, how long it takes you to fly down there, drive to get it. If this is the car you want, Adam, you could have this.
You know what? I'll take Forsberg down there with me. We'll have a little buddy drive back because he loves going down there, doesn't he?
The intern is going down to South Carolina
that's
in a
right.
few weeks for his ultimate
That's
tournament.
a great listen. Intern's fetching coffee. No, intern's fetching me a car. Yes,
but it's still $13,000 plus a flight and all.
I'll make him pay for it. He and his family are pulling up $44,000 a year to go to
Adam.
What?
There's good news.
Okay,
let him say it to you.
Sarah in Everett, who apparently is not going to call it.
Of course not, because she's insane.
She is not insane. And she has a 2006 Mini Cooper convertible, 46,800 miles.
That's good mileage.
She said, I bought it from a client, but I gave up driving it in 2018 because of the Boston City traffic. I only walk, bike, or take public transportation now.
How does she get to her dog walking duties?
She walks, bikes, or takes public transportation.
To Newton from the city?
Yeah, it's called the Green Line.
Okay, so she takes the Green Line and then walks to the homes where she's going to walk the dog?
Bikes around, walks around, trains around. Yes, there are people who do that.
It's a good move.
Okay, but if she walks people all around, the entire Boston metro area.
And then has to walk to each neighborhood, you don't see how that might be a little strange?
I wouldn't do it. You wouldn't do it. There are people who do it.
But
Sarah
she
does
has
it.
a car.
She doesn't like the Boston City traffic.
Yeah, but she does. She's driving mostly because you know how I know she walks in Newton?
Because she's seen you before.
Yeah, and then said I was leering at her, but yet she's seen me on several occasions and sees my car go by. I have no idea what Sarah from Everett looks like. I've never
She
talked
knows
to her.
what you look like.
She certainly does.
Yes.
She's no fan of it.
Can I get to the best part?
No.
Sarah says, I'm a barter/trade person. I will trade the car for a...
For what?
Oh, boy.
3-speed adult tricycle and a knitted hat in Celtics green. I'm working today, so can't call in. Come on, Sarah. But maybe I will try tomorrow and see if
You
there's
walk
interest
dogs, Sarah.
from Adam, 12. It gets about 34 miles to the gallon. And my boyfriend, who is 6'5", take that 6'2", they're shortcake.
Yeah, and he's also is from Niagara Falls and can fly.
Not true. Sits in it very comfortably. So 12. We can put our now we go online and we find an adult three-speed tricycle.
I didn't know that was the thing.
And it's knitted ad in Celtics green, and we get a good deal on those. You buy those, you trade those for this car, you got a car.
Okay, because normally you would think, I don't want to talk about this because she's just being a silly goose, and it's like almost like dumb. But is Sarah being serious?
Oh, I think so. I think she's being deadly serious.
You would know better than us because you know her better than us.
Now, why a tricycle? Does she have the inability to ride a bike? Again, this is Sarah from Everett, so Hardy would know, and none of this is out of the question.
This is what she'll carry with her on the train to get to her different clients.
Like, is she being like a Zooey Deschanel type, being like all quirky and silly, or is she like dead serious? Like, I am willing to barter this car away.
I believe she's got a car that's been sitting there that she doesn't drive, and she's willing just to have someone take it off her hands, and she probably still has to pay insurance on it for a car she's not driving. So here, take it.
So what she's asking for is silly, but are there things? See, I wish Sarah was on the phone because are there things that you have that you would feel comfortable bartering for a car?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Let's get her on tomorrow.
Okay, so
she's working today.
12.
She'll get all fired up.
What I would like you to do is give Sarah
research.
exactly what she wants. So you're gonna have to do some work bartering the things you're willing to part with for the 3-speed tricycle.
Oh, sure. Like the guy who had the paperclip and traded it for this and traded it for that. He ended up with a house.
Yeah, you're gonna end up with a car.
All right.
You might have to trade away your trombone.
Nicholas, is that Sarah? That was not Sarah.
All right. No one wants the trombone.
All right. No, you can't give away the trombone for anything.
No.
But it would be neat if Sarah finally reached the point of madness where she would give away this car for odd things. Do you think Sarah really has a boyfriend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you met Sarah?
No. But I've talked to her on countless occasions.
No, I know that.
Many emails.
Oh, but you don't say. Her name, her email address has neither Sarah nor Everett in it, and yet I know it's her every single time. In fact, it's just a concoction of letters, and yet here I am.
I don't want to say for sure, but I think her boyfriend is another Sports Hub listener and someone that we may know from this show. I think there's like some connection to the Sports Hub, like a name that you would know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say for sure.
Blind says I'm familiar. Blind Scott says I'm familiar where Fred lives too.
Okay.
I went to the Carroll School for the Blind. We could go to the West Newton Cinema. We could walk from there.
That's it. Oh, that's nice.
Why doesn't everyone just show up to my house? Why not? I mean, I don't know what you're going to do to me, but I mean, that's two people that are
let's try it on.
Quite active with the show that seem to know right where I'm located. I do live in Newton Center. There's no question about it.
This is very
but
exciting.
I have many
12.
AR-15.
12. Would you seriously? Would you be interested in that car?
Look, I'll do a little bit of research into the three-wheeled, three-person tricycle, whatever.
Forget about.
I told you guys, I would like to get a hybrid. That's kind of what I'm shooting for here. So but at the same time, a deal like this
you also want to
along,
spend $60 and you.
Oh, I got a question.
Ask, but we got to go to break. But go ahead. And ask.
I am aware. Someone gives you a Tesla.
Oh, I take that in a second. Absolutely. Then I'd flip it into the car I want.
No, that's not. That's
not ready for an electric.
That's not
yet.
the exercise.
Need a hybrid.
You progressives in those Tesla, you're walking on very thin ice.
But if someone were to just show up with...
Why was that so funny?
I don't know.
If she just showed up today outside and said, forget about the barter, here's a Mini Cooper. Do you want it? Would you take it?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Is
Free
it
car.
too masculine?
I would say no.
All right, look, we will be back in just a moment. Jared Weiss will join us.
Caesars Arena. Celtics looked tired at times and turned the ball over 17 times in front of Joe Mazzulla.
I mean, they had great ball pressure. They had great physicality. Their pickup points were high, and we got to do a better job delivering passes and, holding guys off to make sure we have a good passing angle. So I'd say you got to give them credit, but we could be better as well.
It is the first time the Celtics have lost to Detroit in the last 13 meetings between the two teams. Jason Tatum, 27 points in the loss. Celtics back home to face first-place Cleveland tomorrow night. Bruins had yesterday off. They play the Islanders at TD Garden this evening. Ryan Johnston and Bob Beers have the pregame at 6:30 and the face-off at 7 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Patriots defensive lineman Devon Godchaux has been told by the team he's free to talk to other franchises to try and seek a trade. Some NFL news from the scouting combine yesterday. Abdul Carter, the Penn State edge rusher, who's believed to be the favorite to be taken number 1 overall, has tested positive for a stress reaction in his foot. He is contemplating surgery. And the Red Sox lost to Tampa Bay and Fort Myers yesterday 8-2. Alex Bregman drove in both Sox runs and played third base again. Aroldis Chapman and Liam Hendricks both had scoreless outings in their spring debuts. The Sox will visit Detroit and Lakeland, Florida today. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Service Credit Union. They've teamed with Charlie McAvoy again this season for 73 reasons to defend New England's first responders. Visit servicecu.org/73. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com.
Hey, listen, if you've got to go, we understand, but make sure you bring the Sports Hub app with you so you can hear more of Todger and Hardy.
That's what I want on my tombstone.
On the Sports Hub.
Full marks for Detroit. They needed this win. They entered a Hardaway, scores with the left hand. And there is your 20-point lead for the 5th time this year. Celtics are down by 20.
Athletic. He joins us today. Jared, it's always a pleasure to talk to you, sir.
You don't have to lie to me straight off the bat.
Jared, we booked you, and we want you here. Okay? So let's get that out of the way first. Now, how's it at home? No. All right, so I just reminded me of my therapist when I was a child. All right, so Jared, John called it yesterday. I don't want to go over like every NBA game, but like last night, it was just a fatigued Celtics team.
Listen, John always calls it. Like you got John right there. You want to make some money, just have the soothsayer put the bet in for you. And this,
okay.
Not exactly a resounding endorsement, Jared, but thank you. I appreciate it.
No, I never thought of it that way. I mean, it's like taking advantage of him. It's like having, will it upset the universe that we're going with someone who,
but the Celtics spent a lot of energy winning in Toronto the night before. You had Jason Tatum playing 40 minutes. Jaylen Brown got banged up in that game. He didn't play last night. And they looked listless. The only reason they were in the game is because they had a flurry of threes late in the first half, but Detroit was the better team from beginning to end.
Detroit has been the better team from beginning to end a lot lately. I think the most surprising thing is if you go back to the beginning of the new year, guess which team has a better record and a better net rating between these two? It's the Pistons. They have been just consistently good. Their defense has been swarming. They have the best defense in the Eastern Conference over that stretch. Only the Thunder are better in that stretch. This is not like, the Celtics ran out of steam and they lost to a team in the middle of the regular season thing. Like, no, the Pistons are good. The Pistons are legit. They might see the Pistons in the playoffs. And a big part of that is that Detroit, they don't have to play double big anymore. They've got a bunch of wings to play around Cade Cunningham. Malik Beasley is shooting lights out off the bench. Like this is a complete team that they went against, and I think we're just at the point now where we have to look at a game in Detroit on the second night of a back-to-back is like that's one of those games you come into it thinking you got to bring your best if you want to win it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it gets into the East, obviously Cleveland and Boston, right? But then everything's kind of like mixed up. So you're right. It's not ridiculous that the Pistons, based on seeding even, could win a playoff round. And where do you stack them up? and this isn't, I'm not even a Pistons fan. This is just, Knicks, Pacers, Bucks, Pistons. Is it all kind of the same to you? Who do you think stands out of that mishmash of teams?
I would say at this point, the Knicks still have the edge, not just because obviously they are above those teams, but they have multiple offensive creators that they can rely on in the postseason. I think they can rely on Cat in the postseason as a offensive hub, and they have enough defensive depth that I think their defense can be okay in the postseason. But you look at all those teams, that's the team that is the least flawed / has the most playoff ready experience. But considering the starts of their seasons, the Pacers and the Pistons are both hot enough lately that they've been playing at the same tier, if not better, than the Knicks over the last few months. In fact, they've definitely been better over the Knicks over the last few months. So the East is very clearly its own tier with Cleveland and Boston, and we'll see again Friday night how those two teams are shaking out. And then the rest of it is just kind of like, who's going to get to lose those teams? I just can't imagine anybody else making the conference finals between Cleveland and Boston.
Yeah, and I think it becomes a question of who could upset the apple cart just a little bit by pushing either Cleveland or Boston to a 6.
Force them into that over and over again and start to take away some of their open shooters. And if you can do that, then you're kind of giving the blueprint over to a team like Boston that actually knows how to get it done.
And that's the thing. Cleveland has 10 losses, and I was just looking while you guys were talking. They've lost to the Celtics twice, Atlanta twice, and Houston twice. Those are the only teams that have really had success. Atlanta could be a first-round matchup with them, and then they'd have the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. So if things break right, it won't necessarily be easy for them.
Exactly. It's not, I think what's good about the East this year is that it's not looking like there's going to be much easy, because the teams that are in the play-in are teams that they have the upside to be scrappy, especially Orlando. Orlando's had this very strange season, but they obviously have some really good talent there. And then teams 3 through 6 are all competitive. I don't think if the Celtics were to face any of those teams in the second round, I think it would be a pretty good battle. You're looking at a 6 or maybe even a 7-game series potentially. I just don't see any easy gentleman sweeps happening again this year, unless, of course, injuries happen, and injuries happen every single year, obviously. So you never know where that's going to come from.
Okay, so along the same lines of teams that could play spoiler a little bit in the East, we were having this discussion, Jared, over the last couple of days after the Lakers-Dallas game. Do you think the Lakers can do anything really in the playoffs, or as I seem to think, they could be good enough to push a team, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, somebody beyond their comfort level and give them more of a series than one might expect before one of those other teams that eventually makes the finals?
The Lakers they're flipping a switch. They're figuring it out. This is real, I think. It's their defense. Their defense has been really good. And that's the scary part, is they traded for Luka, who the Mavs sources have been making sound like is basically like a bum living under a bridge that doesn't even know how to play defense because he's so drunk the entire time. And they're defending well. And they just lost Anthony Davis, and they're defending well. This is coming together quickly. JJ Redick is starting to really show his masterstroke genius here. And their offense isn't even coming around yet, but Luka is going to be able to get that done. So the Lakers, we're waiting to see, are they going to catapult up to that top tier of the West where Denver and OKC are sitting pretty clearly here, because Denver has just been incredible ever since their start. We'll see where Memphis fits into that, because they're also very good. But the Lakers, they're only 2 games back of the second seed Memphis Grizzlies. They could end up even being the second seed by the time we get to the postseason. They're looking great. They're looking scary. And it's looking like maybe that trade was a bit of a mistake for Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought? But if Dallas,
who would have thought?
If Dallas, I mean, what a disaster if the Lakers were to make the Western Conference Finals this year, because even at least Dallas was supposed to get a short-term benefit from this. If Dallas gets healthy, if they get, Davis back, if they get some bigs back, is there any way that they could do anything in the playoffs this season, in your opinion?
Sure. Yeah. If you just forget about who they're trading away, the way they've reshaped their team is interesting, and I like it. And before AD got hurt in that first game, they were looking great. So with the way because Kyrie's having a great season, so they can count on him to run the offense, and then they can do a lot of interesting stuff with their double bigs. Although I'm not sure I'd really want to do that the way they did it, just because I feel like they're taking away a lot of the room that Derek Lively needs to make himself great, and they're taking away the guy in Luka that made Derek Lively so great. So we'll see how that all works out. They definitely are a good competitive playoff team. It's just that I don't think with a fully healthy AD, they're as good as OKC and Denver, and that's the high watermark you got to hit. So the trade just didn't make any sense from that perspective either.
I wanted to get back to your feeling about the Lakers making a big push and making a deep run in the playoffs. We were talking about this yesterday. So much is matchup based when you get to a 7-game series, and Oklahoma City and Denver for two have very good big men, and Memphis for that matter is a very good big man. The Lakers don't have a center, so I'm thinking over a 7-game series that will be a problem. No.
Absolutely. And that's why I don't understand why their defense looks good, because they're playing like they can make the finals right now. I mean, that's just what they look like. And you just can't forget that LeBron James in the playoffs is a different beast. And the guy that we're seeing right now, I don't think he's even close to what we're going to see in the postseason. And it's usually that way. So I think you just look at it as the Lakers are a team that are probably going to even take a jump in their defensive ability, because LeBron is going to play defense that much better. But you are right. Their big risk factor is they got to face Denver, and they got to throw Rui and LeBron at Jokic, and it just doesn't work. And then against OKC, they're a better matchup, because I think if they're playing Jackson Hayes at the 5, I think he can actually take away some of the rim running stuff that they're going to get out of their bigs for OKC. But then you have Chet Holmgren spacing to the 3-point line, and that maybe they want to play small at that point. I don't really know. It's like OKC's a matchup nightmare. They're the best team in the NBA. They're probably the favorite to win the championship right now. So nobody's going to look great matching up against them. But the Lakers, at least, they're locking in on perimeter defense, which is kind of the thing that matters against almost every single team. They're doing it at a really, really high level right now.
If Oklahoma City plays Boston in the finals, who do you like?
I like OKC. They're invincible. They have the best. I think they sold the best net rating in NBA history right now. They're just playing so damn well. They're so damn versatile. They've been playing most of the season without arguably their second best player, or at least long term, Chet Holmgren. They've been incredible, and until Drew Holiday can show that he's back to being Drew Holiday, which he has not been this year, then I just don't think anybody can topple OKC.
And then imagine the world with Oklahoma City finally getting a championship.
Yeah.
I mean, what a well-deserved organization.
Everyone's going to move there and everything.
I mean,
great.
I mean, the ratings will be off the charts. It would be far too much for the NBA to handle.
What will the talking heads talk about once they finally win one?
I mean, I know it's they've been cursed for so long. Jared Weiss, read him in The Athletic. Jared, always thank you for the time, sir. Great information. Appreciate it.
Thank you, fellas.
All right,
Jared.
there you go. And I'm on ESPN right now. ABC 8:30 primetime.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State at 76ers.
Sweet. Can't ask for better.
I mean, if you had plans for Saturday night, cancel them.
Yep.
Because there is a certain team coming to town. Golden State at Philadelphia. Look out. A night of 1,000 stars. All right, in Philadelphia, that is. All right, we will be back in just a moment with our award-winning and with Sarah from Everett always, but today for some reason Sarah from Everett is working, which is walking dogs, but still she cannot use a phone because her hands are full with dog leashes. You see?
I would assume so, and this might throw off Adam's desire to have the car that she's offering up to him, because she provided a photo of the car.
Oh.
And there are dogs sitting in it. And we know how Adam 12 feels about dogs. I don't know if he's necessarily allergic. He just doesn't like them. So if there's any dog hair remnant left in the
Joe,
car.
if the car smelled like, wait, that's right, she's a dog walker. Like if the dog smells like a car smells like dogs, I'm out.
even for a trade for a tricycle.
Yeah, I don't want a car that smells like dogs.
PTSD from his implications in the Michael Vick situation.
I don't want to talk about that.
It always brings him back. It reminds him of that jail term he served. All right, we'll be back with the world famous email segment in just a moment.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
All right. Fred will join us here shortly. Here on Toucher and Hardy, but we have emails to get to, John.
Yes.
A lot of car emails for Adam 12. I want to thank Casey, who sent a link to a place that specializes in used Subarus in New Hampshire. So I'll forward that to you.
Send that my way. I appreciate all of the leads. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. I mean, we have resources here at the radio station too. Which have you started to investigate those?
I have, yes. Actually, I reached out to a couple of the sales reps here at the radio station that have connections to car dealerships, and I spent yesterday afternoon going through all of those car dealerships' websites. I wasn't able to find a match that fits what I'm looking for in my budget yet, but if I do, then I'll certainly follow up.
It's not like
would be.
Yeah, exactly. Like an Albrecht Auto doesn't have a free section like the neighborhood website.
The other interesting thing is 12 is, just as a backup, is tried to look into tricycles to possibly give to who's giving it?
Sarah from Everett.
Thank
yes,
you, Sarah. I don't know why I blanked on her name. He's got tricycles. A picture. If
well,
you
I
take
had
a look
Graham.
at it.
Graham sent on Facebook sent me a listing on Facebook Marketplace for a purple adult tricycle.
You see that?
$150.
Now I just got an email from Sarah.
Oh,
hi Hardy. I can call in, but I'm literally sitting on a.
Whoa.
I'm literally sitting.
Wait, whoa.
No. It's not going to be that exciting for it, but you'll still like it. I'm literally sitting on a bench next to the Mass Pike. Fred, if you can hear me, I'm happy to talk.
Sarah, call in.
I said yes. Please call in now. Adam 12. I have sturdy covers on those seats, no dog smell, and my tricycle was stolen from Everett, probably from metal. It was so heavy. And then she
She's
included
on line one.
Okay, there we go.
There you go. Thank you. Sarah. Sarah. Hello, Sarah from Everett.
Hi, guys. Can you hear? It's really loud here.
Okay, why are you sitting on why are you sitting on an overpass?
I'm waiting for the MBTA to get me back into Beacon Hill to return dogs that I'm walking.
Okay, Sarah, why did you stop driving your automobile if you own one?
I had close to a nervous breakdown because traffic it would take me, it's like 12 miles from Everett, and my first client was in the South End, and it would take me an hour and 45 minutes. By 10 o'clock, when I had picked up all my dogs, because I used to take dogs hiking off leashes with, by 10 o'clock, I would have $250 in loading zone parking tickets trying to pick up dogs in the city.
Okay, so do you take the dogs on the train?
Yeah, they don't mind. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So how many dogs at a time will you have on the train on a good day?
Today I'm going to have 4, but I have taken up to 6, and I've had 4 on the bus because the train was down, shocker.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
listen. Listen. Who am I to judge anyone with a nervous breakdown? I've come close many times when we lived in Dorchester, when we were working in Dorchester.
You've had them. Let's face it.
I mean, I went to the booby hatch as hard as the puzzle factory.
And before we get into
I didn't get that. I didn't get that far from me, but I was
it's
close.
coming.
I was really close.
Yeah, it's coming.
Sarah, before we get
Yeah, fine. I'm fine.
go ahead. Before we get to the car, and you don't have to say his name, do we know your boyfriend? It seems like you've mentioned him before. You don't have to say who it is, but it's someone that like the station or the show is familiar with?
Well, we met like the Bell and Hand heavy karaoke years ago. Okay. And
at a morning show event.
Yeah, the Bell and Hand. Yeah.
Oh.
We met, and we're still together. That was in 2007.
Nice.
And but
Will the state allow you two to get married?
There's no common law in the state of Massachusetts, and we're both worth something, so there will be no marriage.
Oh.
You're worth something. What does that mean?
We both have property and money, so.
Okay. Well, obviously, Sarah, you do.
And we don't have kids, so.
Okay.
We're just, and we're both not into marriage. It's kind of a stupid.
All right.
It's a stupid thing.
No, it's
made
not.
up.
It lasts forever.
All right, let's get to this car then. So
Yeah, right, Fred.
your tricycle was stolen. Your 3-speed adult tricycle.
It didn't. That was the thing. Is I got one. I foolishly bought one without speed, and it was so heavy. I mean, it was a great workout, but it was so heavy that I decided my next one I want to have speeds on it to help me.
So you really did ride a tricycle around, and you would put dogs in various baskets, because I'm looking at a picture of it right now. You would have dogs in baskets all over the tricycle.
Those are my 2 dogs. Yes, yeah. I would ride in from Everett. That's a house on Beacon Hill. And I would leave the bike there and then go walk dogs for the day. Yeah.
Did the teenagers have like a nickname for you in Everett? Like, are you? Are you?
Muchacha Blanca. Oh no, that was in Chelsea. Muchacha
Okay. Is there like like the parents go, oh yeah, you just moved here. That's the tricycle lady.
I wasn't like the guy that rode down Boylston Street screaming.
Right.
It was a great way to get around, and I could take my dogs out.
Right.
Please.
Well, you've been listening for a long time.
You're
That's for
so
sure.
judgy, Fred. Fred, can I just say something? Twice you used the word meandering when you said my name. Have you been checking up on me? Because that's the name of my dog walking company.
Yeah, you been checking up on our friend?
I didn't hear any of that.
That's fine. Sarah, let's talk about the car. Where is the car in storage? Is it garaged? Are you still paying insurance on it? What condition is it in?
No. It isn't in storage, unfortunately, and it probably hasn't been started in 4 years. But my boyfriend, in an attempt to get me to start driving again, bought me a brand new battery for Christmas. So I will throw that in.
Did he wrap it?
Yeah, he wrapped it. He reactivated it.
So he wrapped a car battery and put it under the tree?
Yes.
To make you do something you didn't want to do?
He was encouraging me, Fred.
So he said, hey, you have this anxiety.
Yeah, I wrapped up a vacuum cleaner. I know where he's coming from. Huh?
No, it's like, I wrapped up a box of fear. Open it. Merry Christmas. Yeah, sure. All right. So are you serious that you'll give this car to Adam?
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'll go home, not today because it's raining, but I will go home and I took a power mechanics class in high school, so I'll get in there, I'll load the battery, and I'll make sure it starts, and yeah, if he wants it, it's his.
And you'll just give it to him.
Is your boyfriend going to be upset about this?
Oh, my boyfriend wants that thing gone. If I'm not going to drive it, he wants it gone.
Okay.
So he'll be sad.
All right. Now, is there a specific tricycle that you want? Because Adam 12 may do some bartering of his own to acquire a tricycle to give to you so that you can then barter for the car.
Yeah, let me go. Let me get the battery in and make sure it starts. And oh god, the train's coming. I gotta go, guys. Okay. And make sure it starts before you do anything. But maybe put something on his. I just want a 3-speed adult tricycle.
Okay.
All right, but you don't even need that. You'll just give it to him. You're saying.
I'd rather. I mean, I should get a little something.
Yeah. You'll give it. Just give it to him for free, right?
All right. We'll give.
Yeah. No, I like on stuff. Oh, here's the train, guys. I gotta go.
Okay, all right. Bye. Choo choo. There goes Sarah from Everett. That she's ringing her tricycle bell. Can you imagine being 12 years old and having that lady with 5 dogs on a tricycle riding around your neighborhood?
That felt like a whole show in one phone call.
There was a kid named Billy Munson that rode around our neighborhood, Billy Munson, and I'll never forget the name Billy Munson.
Yeah.
And Sarah from Everett is Everett's Billy Munson.
Those adult tricycles, the only time I've seen one other than that photo was I used to see them as a kid when we would go down to visit my grandma and grandpa in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And the oldsters would ride around on those big, giant adult tricycles.
Sarah is a very unique woman. And the idea that she, for some reason, this makes all her insults to me feel much worse. That a woman who's riding an adult tricycle around Everett with dogs on it going, having nervous breakdowns, yet still feels that she's in a position of superiority over me. Really lets me know where I stand in the world.
I don't know that she's wrong.
That's my point. That's
Yeah.
why it hurts. It wouldn't hurt if I knew she wasn't right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why it hurts.
Yeah, I think 12. This could really be something.
It's something.
Well, she's just going to give you a car. If she just gives it to you, screw the tricycle stuff. If she just gives you a car, will you take it?
No.
You won't take a free car.
Were you not listening to the phone call that just happened?
I could only hear.
This is going to be. If I said yes to that, this would become an episode of like a nightmare sitcom. Of like, what is that going to... Okay, you go and you get the car. Well, it turns out it's not this, and it's not that. And actually, it's in this weird spot, and you got to bring a tow truck in to get... I'm not going down this road. Absolutely
What
not.
if it starts?
It's not going to start.
But what if it does?
It hasn't started in 4 years. It's full of dogs.
Well, that's being too picky. You wouldn't take a free car because it smelled like dogs.
And, no, I'm all kidding aside. No, like this just does not sound like it is a feasible plan.
I'll take the car.
Okay, then you take it.
I'm going to take it, and I'll go buy her a tricycle and a green knit Celtics hat just so I can have the car. So my son has a car in a year and a half when he starts driving.
There you go. He can have the Mini Cooper.
Are you afraid like she's gonna shut up, Nick? Are you afraid that she's gonna? You're even annoying, but I heard you. I heard you. Don't flail around and knock your headphones off your head like nothing just happened. You are something else.
What did he do? I didn't hear him.
Adam's mic's on, and Nick's yelled in the background, and Adam's mic picked it up, and I said, "Shut up, Nick." And he flails around and knocks his headphones off as if, "What'd I do?" You are something else, Nicholas. I was joking with the shut up, but then, boy, oh boy. Do you do that at home? In all seriousness, do you flail around like that at home at the drop of a hat? You have no impulse control. Jesus Christ, you got a 2-year-old or something. How are you dealing with that?
He's not modeling good behavior for the 2-year-old.
I'll
that's
say
for sure.
so. I mean, kids like when you're a kid, you gotta have that trigger has gotta be. You got a safety on it. I mean, he knocked his headphones off his head. He was so incredulous that I could hear him.
What did he yell that got picked up on the mic?
I'll take it. And I was joking around, and I said, "Shut up, Nick." And then he goes, like, I mean, it's just ridiculous. He knows he does it too. Is the thing because he has no impulse control, and then when it's done, he kind of starts laughing because he knows he did it. Yeah. But at the time, like he would be the worst actor in the world. Like it would be like Michael Scott at the improv class, like, all right, someone just told you, like they lost, they misplaced your this bag of candy, and they'll have it for you in 10 seconds. I don't know. It's a terrible thing. Something innocuous, and he would just.
And Nick's reaction would be, "I have a gun."
Yeah, exactly.
And scene.
All right.
Nick, your table's not going to be ready in 3 minutes.
So 12, you don't want to go through all the rigmarole to get the car. This to me makes it appealing. Oh, wait a second. Do you need help with the battery? Can we change? Can we clean up the terminals on that thing first?
And that's the difference between me and you. That's a project free for me, dude. I need a ride like tomorrow.
Here's the deal: is Adam wants the government to fix it for him.
No, that is another component.
The timeline.
Yeah, the timeline is a consideration.
Going to look at an XV Crosstrek after the show today. 2014 in Acton.
How many miles
from here? That's why I'm going after work because it's close.
No, how many miles on the car?
Like 60, I think.
I just nicked. I nicked all over Adam 12.
We're gonna use it as a verb now.
Yeah. How many miles on the car?
I've looked at a few. I think that's the one. There was one that had like 45 and one that had like 60. I think this is the one with 60.
Never let Adam cry poor because he's turning down a free car. So there you go.
Am I really, though?
Yeah, you'd be better off renting a car for 2 weeks.
Your guess is as good as mine.
In order to get a free car.
No. It's
yes.
It's not. But
it's
again,
math.
I kind of understand where Adam's coming from because like Sarah would legit give him the car.
Yeah, but
it's that like if I take that from you. Now we're in this situation where you've given me a car.
It's never ending, right?
Yeah,
and
I want that connection.
Well, then you make that connection.
You're not taking that car.
You take the car for your boy, and that way you'll have that connection.
Yeah, I get it, Adam. Yeah. It's like nothing's for free.
Go ahead, Hardy.
It's like you take that.
And
car
you and I are of the same mind with that, Fred. Like it's like you don't want to owe someone one. You know what I mean?
No. I don't like that.
Right. Hardy likes owing someone
You
one. He
owe
likes being
Sarah
owed
from
one.
Everett one. That'd be good. I'd like to see how that turns out for you.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't get her. Like
I appreciate the offer.
She's
I'm
so
just not interested in it.
she's so involved in the show, yet so cruel. Very, very, very.
She
odd.
was very angry at Wallach. On
Yes,
Monday.
she
Wow.
was.
Wow.
Yeah, she didn't like Wallace.
Doesn't like me.
No.
She doesn't like anyone on this show, yet here she is.
Yeah.
Giving away cars and meeting her boyfriend at old events and everything else. All right. Well, she's an interesting person. There's no question. Now we have Sarah from Everett. She's willing to give Adam a car, but I actually understand Adam not taking it because then now we've taken something of great value from someone who's a little unpredictable. And I understand that. And then you got to sign give her papers and sign over her. Like she has your signature on file. There's a bunch of things going on there.
Just meet and sit down with her for an hour.
Yeah, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's funny. Like someone would be like, what? Forget it. I'd be like, are you being serious? That's all right. Very good. All right. Here are the headlines.
Essential Sports Hub headline presented by.
We know what you're thinking. What could I possibly have missed from the show? It's time for The Stack. Untouchable.
Got to be a sit down, because then if after that, I'm being 100% honest with you. Like this, I went into a mild panic last night about like what I was going to do, because my inclination is always like, just don't try and just don't care. But then I'm like, I can't do that in this case. Like I have to like at least like try a little bit. And it is what it is. And the mistake I made was talking about it on the air, because now when the pictures come out and I'm ugly, it's going to be an avalanche, a painful avalanche of you're ugly. And it's going to be
You're going to be
rough.
fine.
Yeah, I think you're thinking too much about this.
Oh,
I think that it's
you
time
think
to,
that that's something I tend to do.
time to stop thinking about it. Just go in and smile. You know what I'm saying?
I saw the references to the updated Toucher and Hardy photo on YouTube. I had not seen it until just now. Now Fred is the top of his head is barely visible, and he's just waving.
I thought that was John's hand. I thought John was like not wanting to touch me.
Nicholas, that's excellent.
Yeah, I thought the new picture was funnier. Like was funny and better. I wish it was just a picture of me in a mask.
That's great.
I don't want to change this. Can we cancel the photo shoot today? Because I think this
How
should be
about this? How about this? Keep that up for like another week or so. And
At least.
yeah.
Nick,
Well, no,
can you
because
tweet the Photoshop video that you've been making. Just put them all in like a little gallery on Twitter, because people need to see these. They're very funny.
Yeah, but the ones where my face isn't so evident. Let's not advertise
I'm talking about
my
the two
face from a year ago.
This one and then the one
with the tiny hand waving.
Yeah, that I like that one. I like that one because my face is kind of covered. First of all, that was a year ago, and at least I've changed a bit. Like I just need this.
So you've lost a lot of weight.
There you
go.
I need a win. Come on, baby.
Okay, listen. I have
Really low, yeah.
I have to read this email.
I can't have coffee. I would like that. All right, go ahead.
I have to read this email quickly because I didn't get to it yesterday. I think this is a good one. I'm a groomsman in a wedding that's taking place in May. Myself, 2 other groomsmen, and the best man are going for our tux fittings this Sunday. Yesterday, I was told that the best man is essentially my boss for the next 2 months. Do you feel this is an accurate assessment? This is from Cam.
I don't know. I don't even get the point of reference. Like, I've been a best man in a wedding. I've been a groomsman in a couple of weddings.
Did
I've
you
been
boss
married.
around the groomsmen when you were the best man?
I just remember it being super fun. Didn't make them go to a fitting, though. I got married on the beach, so I said you just had to wear tan pants and like a white button down. So I didn't have like a tuxedo fitting, but I just remember being really fun. I gave everyone a throwback jersey of their favorite team with a weird name on it.
But that was when you were the groom.
Yeah.
Okay, but as a best man.
No, my best man, when my friend Jay got married and I was best man, I didn't do anything.
All right. I would not.
No.
I don't think I'd be down with being told what to do and where to be, because you hear this mostly with like maid of honor situations, and then bossing around the bridesmaids. Like, no, Cam, you don't have to do everything you're told to do.
And it shouldn't be that big a deal. Like, you don't have to do anything. And if you're the best man, my advice to you is that brevity is your friend. No matter what you say, make it brief, and your speech will be a rounding success.
Yeah.
I did a terrible speech. I didn't prepare for it, but I said I'm going to do it under 2 minutes, and I did it under 2 minutes. No one had a bad word to say.
Best
about me.
advice I ever got. It's very difficult to give a wedding speech and not suck. So be quick.
Like, you better be like Chris Rock if you're going to go start doing like a long wedding speech. All right, real quick. Gene Hackman died, and obviously he was a great actor. But another guy that died, and I just found out about it, is a couple days ago, Biff Whiff. His actor's name is Biff Whiff, but he was in I Think You Should Leave as this famous character.
I bullet you f***ers! You f***ing suck! You f***ing suck!
Jeez, Crashmore. You're crazier than hell.
They deserved every bullet I pumped in their heads, Chief. God, I am so pissed.
Honey, I'm home. Happy anniversary.
I'm sorry, Crashmore.
I can't stop crying.
They killed your whole family. You need to take some time off.
Hey, Chief, don't save any cages. They ain't gonna be in jail.
May God have mercy on their souls.
You stop! Quit running, damn it! Are you dumb? No. I like that gun. You knew I'd like that gun. Yes, the ching. That's one of the nicest guns I've seen in a long time. I can't wait to shoot that.
With Linda Easley as Monique.
He said he'd kill us both.
He might kill you, but there's no way he's ever killing me. Asshole. He said that?
Ryan Tanner as Sergeant Wilkes.
I don't like the looks of this, Crashmore.
I don't care if I die at all. Everything has sucked lately.
And starring Santa Claus as Detective Crashmore.
You don't give a who's in your way, do you?
What'd you say?
You don't give a shit who's in your way.
Whoa. Missed one.
Whoops.
On that note.
Well, it's not like the boss is here.
It's a Cosmic Mix. It's a little bit Tarantino. It's definitely a little bit Michael Mann. It's kind of a cosmic gumbo. It almost moves to the beat of jazz.
All right, very good. All right, that'll do it for us. We're off to take these photos. Oh, boy. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the